What is up, everybody? Seriously, thank you guys for swinging in today. This is the State of the Game podcast where we talk about Mortal Kombat 11. And of course, I can't go without introducing everybody. First, my co host, the talented tournament organizer for the Xbox side of things, Dream Eater, and our special guest for today. I'm super excited to have. We got Cleve, aka known as Bring Back Cleve, my Kano compadre, although he's been cheating on me with Jackie, I saw this week. And the seriously talented fighter, Titanium Tigers, the man of many characters. How are you guys doing today? Thank you guys for being here, and Happy New Year's to everybody. I swear to God, I hope we have a better year than 2020.
Hello. 2021 is here. Praise be.
Praise be.
Oh, yes. Finally.
Thank the Lord.
Seriously, I'm glad it's over. Seriously glad it's over.
And Junk, I'm not cheating on Kano. Okay, I'm just exploring options. Okay. See, it's not always fun to plus two. I want to always, every once in a while leak when someone take my turn, don't want to, press any buttons for like 10 hours instead of just for 5 minutes. Just a little change,
All right, dude. It's okay, dude. It's all right if you cheat on Kano from time to time, dude. It's all right, dude.
Too, don't worry.
It's all right. I don't blame you. You were trying to win a tournament. I feel you. All right, and good on you for trying to pick up Jackie and play well with her, dude. I'm not gonna hate you for it, dude. I'm not gonna hate you for it. But Tigers, how you doing? Thank you again for swinging in.
Oh, I'm well. I'm doing good. I'm excited about the podcast.
So, first things first. I really want to hear your guys' opinion on game mechanics, and we usually go over this like with a lot of the guests that we talk to, and I'm an avid player myself, and I have my own opinion on the game's mechanics and all that kind of stuff when it comes to like delayed wake up, roll, the breakaway system. But I mean, I want to start off first off with Cleve. I want to hear what you think about the game's. Are you happy with delayed wake up? Do you like the breakaway system? Do you think there should be, what do you like so far about it?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the game mechanics, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of them. Like, as you're saying, breakaway, I like breaker way better. I'd rather have breaker. I'm not a huge fan of, getting breakaway for a combo, then getting full combo punished, and, doing such things on the breakers and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that. Delayed wake up, all this wake up system. I like how in the patch they changed it where there's really one hard set delay wake up, but rolling, up, throwing, there's so many options to wake up. Not a huge fan of that either. Fatal blows, not a huge fan. One thing I can say that I definitely do, force blocking is a little iffy on me. I kind of like some things about it. Like in Garrett's string, 4-2-1-2. I kind of like the string where it has a kind of a gap in it. You have to play a guessing game. You have to, not fully just able, let me go throw strike. Let me just, be safe when I do this one option. There's still some kind of risk in it. But in general, I mean, the game mechanics, not a huge fan of them.
Man, speaking of flawless blocking, I really like flawless blocking as an idea. I'm not very good at it, but I like the concept. But I 100% agree that it should be around more. It's super cool on certain things in the way it enforces guessing games. Mm-hmm. I just want more of it. I wish there were more strings with gaps. I also wish that there were more. There's a handful of strings or just straight up moves, like Scorpion's back one, Nightwolf's forward two, that if you flawless block that move, you don't have to deal with anything after that. They're just done. Same thing with pokes. Universally, pokes can't be canceled if you flawless block them. And I just think that should be a more regular thing, that if you flawless block here, this move, you don't have to deal with the mix-up. For an example of that would be Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn's, in some way, he's kind of nerfed by that, but I don't think that's a terrible nerf to it. Maybe it doesn't need to be punishable. Maybe you just get to take your turn back or whatever on it. But I just think that kind of that concept of flawless blocking having more value to it should be more permutated throughout the game. There should be more things that flawless blocking gives you more value, because in some cases, flawless blocking stuff, they still get to keep all of their plus frames or whatever. They get to keep all of the frame advantage. I mean, like literally all it's doing is saving you from the chip. And I like flawless blocking as a mechanic. I just think there needs to be a lot more incentive to it. Flawless blocking is cool.
Tigers, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I thank you for asking. I hate all of the mechanics in the game pretty much. I hate Fatal Blow. I hate Roll. I think flawless blocking is the worst thing put in almost any NOS game ever. And I wish it all went away personally. But I'll tell you what I do.
Flawless blocking? What's wrong with
flawless blocking creates a armor mind game when you're when the opponent is minus, same as in MKX, and that was one of the worst things about MKX, single-handedly. And it especially doesn't fit a game like this. I hate wave dashing with the speed that you can do it in this game. I like the idea of it, but they have characters moving way too fast in this game. Fatal Blow, way too good. Half of them are safe for no reason. I think Roll is just the worst ever. It creates a really bad mind game on knockdown between wake up buttons and Roll, which creates like almost a 50-50 if you're going to get punished or not for trying the pressure, which is really bad. But delay wake up, awesome. Hate Roll, up 3 amazing, up 2 should be better. Jump-ins need to be much worse, and yeah, that's my opinion about the mechanics. I hate like all of them except up 3. I think up 3 is great.
Tigers, one thing I did actually like what you said though is reversing on flawless block reverses. Like say your string is minus and then you can still flawless block. I don't like that mechanic. It's like when you
it's terrible.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I kind of like. There's certain things
that punishes you for being predictable. Like, oh, you're clearly going to pressure afterward, get blown up for it.
The issue is you shouldn't have that option.
Exactly.
You should not have that option. It's incentivized not
pressure
thinking
afterward.
Yeah, absolutely. You should.
How is that not thinking though? I feel like that's the exact opposite of not thinking.
No, okay.
To think about the fact that you're going to be
let's put a good example here. Geras, right? Geras is, -7 off of, the classic string or fist, whatever you want to do. And the only thing he can do after that is completely safely react and flawless block. Which basically means, okay, after you do this hit confirmable mid-string, that combo launches for ridiculous damage, he can then combo launch you for 32% if you try and pressure him. And if you don't try and pressure him, he can mash down 1. And that creates an unnecessary 50-50 that doesn't really need to be in the game.
Okay, but is the problem then that flawless blocks exist in the game, or is the problem that particular scenario which could be rectified by... That
particular scenario is horrid. And if they fix that, then flawless blocking wouldn't be anywhere near as much of an issue.
But so is it literally just that one scenario that kills flawless blocking for you?
Yeah, and that's the most common place it's used for. The other place flawless block
that seems absurd to write off an entire mechanic based on one particular instance that can totally be changed. Like that can totally be changed. I don't think that
it would be a very complicated situation to change it considering how it works. But writing it off as a mechanic isn't necessarily true. If they fixed a few things about it, I really like the idea that it reduces chip, and I like that it cancels some strings, and I think they should explore that more. But my issue with it is that the only thing it's actually good for in regular gameplay is dealing with gaps in strings. But that doesn't really matter. It's just this version of NRS is getting around that. In Injustice, it was enhanced back 3. In MKX, it was armored launchers. It's just this game's version, except this game's version has more universal, somewhat very unskilled applications. The only thing I think flawless blocking is good for as a mechanic, besides reducing chip, is changing jump-ins on block and helping deal with another broken mechanic which shouldn't be in the game, which is how good the jump-ins are. Mm-hmm. But that's my opinions on it.
I'll be honest, I'm really agreeing with Tiger saying. Like, most of what he's saying, I kind of agree with. Like, definitely also the jumping thing is like one of the main counters to jumping is obviously everyone knows it's very, very strong. It's a very, very strong mechanic. Flawless blocking jump-ins is one of the ways you really counter it. Like, that's one of the main ways. You flawless block, you go up 2, or even just in general, like you're saying, flawless blocking, being more minus, even be able to take your turn from that like situation is a huge thing about flawless blocking. Like,
yeah.
Wow, I really didn't expect that. That's very interesting. No, it's very interesting, opinion when it comes to the flaw. Because me personally, I I appreciate the flawless block mechanic. I guess I'm kind of with Dream where I want more of it. Like I want to be able to, if I put the time and the effort to learn my, opposition strings and got the timing down in order to flawless block it and try and get my turn back, I feel like that is rewarding to me as a character. Like it shows how much time I put. But with everything that you've said, Tigers, I mean, I see where you're coming from 100%. I see where you're coming from, and we even have some people in chat that are definitely agreeing with you on everything. And I mean, I agree with you on the jump ins. I think that's one of the things that I mean should definitely be looked upon when it comes to Mortal Kombat 11. Like I feel like the jump ins are too strong. I mean, people are literally wake up jumping, and it's working out. Like,
empty complaint though. Like, wake up jump is an allowed option. Everybody is allowed to wake up jump. It's in the game.
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
reason.
It's
like characters have anti-air. Come on.
Yeah.
all right. Well, all right. That's starting to unpackage another thing. So, like, So
well, hold on. So like, I still wanna.
Okay, go ahead, Dream. Go ahead.
Flawless blocking. I just want to get so I like flawless blocking, but admittedly, when I think about flawless blocking, I don't necessarily consider my thing about it is incentivizing people to do it in the things like reducing chip, stopping plus frames, right? Like it makes certain strings less.
That's
negative
cool. I like
whatever.
it. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily. Like the heavyweight for me, and it's probably because I don't do it, is flawless block attacks. So is the problem then, just because I want to understand, if they were to change the way that flawless block attacks work? So like for an example, let's say you can only up to now if you do like airborne attacks. So jump-ins, you can punish people for trying to use their obnoxious jump-ins. And then another example would be like if you flawless block somebody else's get up attack. Like maybe that'd be a good way to launch them because they're invulnerable, so you couldn't have meatied them out of it or whatever. Blah blah blah. But in the middle of strings or in like a poke game, like a post 2-1-2 game, forward 2-1-2 from Geras, he can't launch you with it. Now, would it still be as bad if he could just up 3? Like he could just say "fuck you" for trying to poke me or whatever? Would that still make it too strong?
Honestly, I would still prefer if up 3 wasn't an option, but it'd be a far cry better.
Just do you mean up 2 or up 3? Which one? You mean the launcher?
Even if it was just up 3, it would still be. It would still not be reasonable, in my opinion. I think the mechanic as a whole,
even for the meter
almost
for the meter cost,
even for the meter to cost. Even for the meter to cost, it is a bit too much for me. But that being said, that is way better in my opinion. I would love that. Yeah. If they said they were changing that, oh my god, I'd be so happy.
One thing I actually like, you're talking about the meter is like, okay, it might cost meter, but in 1K11, meter regen's so fast, like you can really just run away, get that meter back, boom, you're already back.
Yeah, but the idea might be that like
that's different. This situation is different.
If they're spending meter on something, then they might not have it in order to do it or whatever. There are other things that can
meter does matter, and specifically this scenario. Not to mention, meter takes a really long time to regenerate after an up 2 or up 3. But if you up 3 someone, you probably don't have any meter to combo after. So I think it's not. Normally, I would agree with you.
Combo. Up 2 is the combo one.
I know. Okay. I know. But I mean, like playing the strike throw mind game after, and if you lose the strike throw mind game, if you get hit with buttons, you don't have meter to launch. But yeah, point being, if you're knocked down, you probably don't have offensive meter. Or, after a string and you have to spend bar for it, Lots of characters have any number of ways to get rid of their meter because it's MK11. You do spend it a lot. You almost never have 2 bars to up 3 and then immediately spend another to launch. So normally, I would say meter doesn't matter because it's MK11. But in this scenario, I'd say it does. I think that is. I think you're probably not going to launch them after. That being said, I still don't like it. I still don't like it. I still don't like up 3. I would like it if you just couldn't flawless block up attack off of basic buttons in neutral. Maybe just off of basic buttons in general, actually.
Okay, all right, interesting. And then so another thing I guess that I kind of feel is the difference or the weight between up 2 and up 3. It feels like in almost every scenario, up 2 is the way to go. Like there is not a lot of
almost every
up 3 unless your character has
yeah.
a bad up two that doesn't reach or whatever, like Liu Kang, you know, finally a problem with the character, right? Yeah, right.
Well, yeah.
But you know, for the most part, up two is almost always the way to go. And I personally, I find that a little strange that you give me the option to do both, but the incentive is almost always on doing the other one to do, because it's like, you know, the other thing too, almost every single flawless blockable like gap in a string comes right before the last hit. Right, so it's like either it's fast enough to be interrupted by up two, but like having the invulnerability never has been a big thing. I guess for Scorpion maybe it matters, but
like, because this is extremely slow. But yeah,
but for the most part, it's not chases of characters like tearing through the rest of strings because you flawless blocked it. So them being invulnerable, I don't think ends up being like a good enough incentive.
The only time where that matters is the flawless block gap and Sub-Zero's creeping ice, because it beats every up two.
Okay. The pushback.
That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, even Kano's. I can't believe it.
Even Kano's?
Oh yeah.
No, even Gearus's.
Wow.
Doesn't matter.
Hate it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So okay. So the things I like about flawless block, at least everybody else likes, and the things that I'm too bad to play with technically that's what everybody has a problem with. So I feel better about my opinion at least. All right. Well, make some changes. I kind of agree that with the ideas that you have, that really solid players, Gears particularly, that 6 frame down one, that scenario that you've outlined is a really impressive situation to find yourself on.
I would go as far as it's unfair.
Oh.
Especially with the fact that Gearus can command grab you too, but whatever, you know.
Yeah, right. That character has he's like if
after you theoretically guess right, you still have to guess again.
Yeah, and it's like he
not
has
very
a 6
fun.
frame down one and a command grab, so he's got like two of the
It's not really fun.
And it's a
Not
mid
really fun.
command grab. It's like, oh man, that is a lot of the pieces of the puzzle that you would need to do.
It's really not fun. And it's not just Gearus, it's a lot of the cast, but yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fair. So flawless block, we like some parts of it. There's some things that still need some change, and I'll admit the mechanic, just like Breakaway, feels like it was.
Oh, I forgot to say I hate Breakaway. I hate Breakaway too.
Well, yeah, but those mechanics feel half-baked. Like they have a good idea, but they didn't fully flesh out all the facets of it.
It's so close. A lot of it is so close to being really great. A lot of it is so close.
Exactly. It just needs a little bit.
It's a mess. It is a mess. Oh, and what's interesting, I think up 3 should be pretty much universally safe, even in flawless blocked. But that's just a small thing.
Yeah, some characters have a punishable up 3, and some don't. Like I know
some
Night
characters
Wolves,
have insanely bad up 3s for no reason.
Yeah, well, there's like a handful of them that like the ones that come immediately to mind are the ones that are easily short hopped, like Raiden and Sonya and Jax. Like for whatever reason, their get up attack involves them hitting the ground, so you're able to, if you're not on the ground, you're not getting hit by it. And there's and yet you have characters like Sindel, who like her up 3 covers behind her, or Kung Lao, right?
Kung Lao.
Gears has got sand in all of his pockets.
Oh, Sindel's. Sindel's anti-aired me.
Oh.
I neutral jumped the Sindel yesterday in the corner, and I got anti-aired.
It's active for 12 frames.
That's
But
wild.
fun fact, Sonya's up 3 isn't fully invincible.
What?
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. There's like here's ways to beat it.
Yeah, if you short hop
you
it?
can just like forward form. No, you can just forward form or whatever. Like whatever your character has, you can just media it.
No.
Yeah, no, you can.
Yeah.
Volcano. No.
Yeah, so like the idea that not all up 3s are created equal is very real. Now, granted,
It's just weird.
I think in some ways, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that not everybody needs to have a great get up attack. But that being said, it seems like the distribution of good and bad get up attacks is completely arbitrary. Like it's not a case of this character's really strong, so he should maybe have a weaker get up attack. It's just a case of, well, Aaron shoots guns, so let's make his up 2 guns. And then it's like, all right, well, okay, but now they're fucking weird ass projectiles that hit from half screen but don't hit right. You know what I mean? Like it's all this like you made it, or like Jax is like, well, he punched ground, go. Well, yeah, but like, okay, did you think about maybe the rest of the stuff that might be a thing to like feel out about his get up attack and its flaws or whatever, and some of them feel like they didn't. They really just thought about like, oh, let's do it with lore,
what the character does,
make it look cool, and let's not actually consider the implications. And for something like a universal mechanic in up threes, you would think that those would have some more thought put into them. I would say the same thing with everybody's universal overhead, right? Short hop attacks, like some of them are so awfully designed that it's like, why did you even bother? Why? It's low profileable. What the fuck is that? But that's a different discussion.
So, I mean, since we're getting on to this topic, is there any way that we can improve this? Like, what are ways that we can, if we were the developers and we had all the power and you wanted to see some changes, what would you do? And, you know, would these changes be the things that you want to see?
Well, general game mechanics?
Yes. Let's stick with game mechanics for right now.
Definitely, one thing Tigers definitely said, which I've been actually been saying since like the game was released, honestly, is have it where you can only up 3 on certain situations, like when you false block, only able to up 3 on certain situations. I like that. Definitely think I've been trying to endorse.
Instead of launcher?
Okay, so if you say you false block something, your only option is up 3, not up 2. You can't up 2. You only can up 3.
Yeah, that's what I was suggesting.
Okay.
Like jump ins up toable, maybe some other ones up toable. But for the most part, you get to take your turn back, do 9%, 7%, but you don't get to turn it into 25% plus. Or for some characters, crushing blows loaded. Now here's another 40.
And then one game mechanic we don't even touch yet is fatal blows. That's something I think need a lot of changes. Like, if you look back at previous games like Injustice 2, MKX, to spend something like a super / fatal blow / like X-ray, any of that, it takes all your meter away, and you have your resource list, and you do this certain amount of damage. In this game, if you try to spend fatal blow, 1, it comes back. 2, sometimes it's safe. 3, you have full meter. How is that a thing? Why is that allowed? Like, why do you have all this resources plus a fatal blow that does what, 32%, 31, whatever your character does on hit? Like, why is that a thing?
I think Fatal Blow definitely needs some tweaks. For the most part, though, I like what it's bringing to the table compared to Supers and X-Rays. Because you bring up Supers and X-Rays in Injustice, yes, they cost all your meter, but the unfortunate reality was also that for 4 bars in Injustice to do 30%, I can spend 2 bars, and you know what I mean. And the same thing goes for MK. Like Takeda does 50% for 3 bars. Why would he ever do his fatal blow? Like literally, why would I ever do a fatal blow?
Right.
So
no, I definitely agree with that, though. But the thing about this one is, like, I 100% agree with you. Like, they needed to have some incentive to do these certain mechanics.
Oh yeah.
So the wrong way. Like they.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, I like what they're bringing to the table in that they have changed the resource and the way that their usage is. Like, there's something that you actually see now. But in terms of the rest of their interactions with the game, they do need tweaks. Certain fatal blows being safe, I think, is a little obnoxious. The only one that I can think of that has some reasonability to it is Shiva's, because it's got that, like, hey, if you flawless block it, things change. So that one is like, okay, if you want to make this one have different properties based on the way that the player deals with it defensively, I'll hear you out. But other ones, it's like, it's completely random. Why does this one have crazy pushback? So I think that they do need to be punishable. And yeah, I don't think they should come back. I like them. I kind of think of them akin to Tekken rage arts, right? You get to low life in Tekken, you get to do your rage art. I believe you can do it every single round, but the thing is you can only use it once, right? And they're heavily punishable. So if somebody baits them out, you lose it. Now they also have rage drive and rage art. So there's 2 different resources there. So there's a little bit more like a mind gamer that you're not guaranteed to use it or whatever. But ultimately, the idea being, once it's used, it's gone. I think that MK should do that. I think that there's this weird. It feels like it's a casual crutch, right? Like your little brother mashes out a fatal blow, you block that shit, but he's got to, you don't end up killing him, and he wants to try it again. And like, that's who it feels like it's for. I don't agree that they should come back off of cooldown. I think that once you make the attempt, it should be gone for good. And the same should go for, even if you cancel it, a la Johnny Cage and Joker, because both of the characters with cancelable fatal blows turn those into crushing blows that do, in Joker's case, the same amount of damage, in Johnny's more damage. Then yeah, you don't get your fatal blow till next round. Like, you shouldn't need it, honestly. If you just did 50%, like, good comeback. Let's like next round. So I don't think they should come off of cooldown. I think that makes them too obnoxious to have to worry about dealing with it again, especially with some of them being safe. You block a Gears one at half screen. Now you got to worry about the vacuum being plugged in again another 8 seconds from now. It's obnoxious.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, one use I feel like is fair. I mean, I don't know how do you guys feel like even if this happens. So say like you go through a round and you have your fatal blow, but you cancel it. Do you get it next round or is it done?
What do you mean
Like
you cancel it? Like Johnny Cage or
you cancel it?
Joker?
You cancel it. Yeah, you're Johnny or Joker. You cancel it real
You lose
quick.
You can't
You
use it
do
again
your
that
combo
round.
and end up winning the round. Do next round.
I think he's.
Do you get fatal
No,
blow
I think
again
I
if you
think
hit
get
that
it
health?
next round. I think you get it back next round.
Yeah, get it back next round, definitely. I mean,
I don't think that you lose it
I mean-
forever. Even if you cancel it, that for those characters, the ability to cancel it should not become a do I lose this forever off of it like a dash. I think that's too heavy of a cost. What they get for it is totally reasonable, and I think that if the cost ended up being that you lose it for the rest of the round, even would still be really in their favor. But losing the whole thing, that makes it a little bit different of an argument. I think for Johnny, you still do it. For Joker, you don't do the cancel anymore. The throw is still a mix-up mind game that they in every situation, other than if you catch them on a roll, maybe. But when you're canceling it to get there, every single time, that gimmick is something that they can make their way out
So
of. And it just
canceling
becomes
is fine,
don't
but if
do
you
it.
use it and it gets blocked, it's gone.
Well, no, you get it back the next round again. I
You
would
get
say
it
you get it back.
you get it back next round.
So if they,
But it's
if
only
they
one-time
fixed it
use.
Properly, yeah, but if they fixed it properly, when your fatal blow is blocked, you die. Like everybody's B&B combo does about 30%, and maybe you've got breakaway to get out of it. So I guess the rest of the mechanics fuck this up. But people have armor breaks. There's like stuff that you can. There's situations in there that for the most part, when your fatal blow is blocked, you're probably gonna die. If you don't die, you still. I don't think you get it back that round, but I do think you shouldn't lose it forever. I think you still get it back the next round if it gets blocked. What about you guys? You should get it back.
Yeah. My input on fatal blows is I think you should get it from the beginning of the game, and you can only use it once. And when you use it, it removes the defensive bar for the entire game.
So you want
That's
us
my
all to
opinions on fatal
be
blows.
Wait, so you
forfeiture
lose?
or
Like, so you only have
lose?
one defensive bar?
Yeah, you
So
only
you
have one
can't break
defensive
away?
bar. Nope.
Ooh.
That's
Nope.
interesting.
Nope.
I think
Good
that's
Lord.
a little too much. I think it's a little too
See,
much.
the issue with fatal blow is it's completely anti-skill that you can just use that shit, and sometimes it's safe for no reason. Some characters literally can't punish. Literally the main offenders being like Jackie, characters like that, you just cannot punish for absolutely no reason. But the biggest issue is the way it makes comebacks happen in MK11, and the way being at a less amount of health is better in so many numerous situations, which should pretty much never be in a fighting game. You should not want to be at a less amount of health. It
I gotta
creates
disagree
a
on that one.
terrible mind game in a whole bunch of situations. Just truly terrible.
I think
And-
being at lesser health is how comebacks first off happen. And if you look at like sparking in DBZ, X Factor and Marvel, rage in general makes you do more damage when you're behind in life. Like
Right.
I think
These
that
mechanics
giving,
are there
being-
for sure.
I think the having a benefit of being in low life is not necessarily a bad thing, because as much as you're in low life, you're also one crushing blow away from death.
It's not palatable for the way NOS makes their games. It does not work for the type of game that you play in this game. And the differences between these games and that games is the comeback mechanic is built in to MK11 already. You already have amazing strike throw, while in DBZ, there really isn't any per se mix-ups. And in Tekken, the game is already completely based around neutral anyway, compared to like any other fighting game, it has some of the best neutral. The way MK and say Injustice or MKX works, MKX worked in a function where if you were down, you were pretty much over, unless you got your offense started. But in general, you were just done. You were just done in that game. And in Injustice, it was kind of the same unless you were the Flash. You're just kind of done at the low amount of health. And MK11, it doesn't really work with the game, and it didn't work for those games either, to have the person who is losing to have an advantage. It just doesn't really work, and if it's a little bit harder to articulate it. But if you look at any professional player, any high-level player, they're all gonna tell you that the biggest issue with Fatal Blow, is that you get it when you're at low health, and it just does 30%, and it just ruins it. They will kill you off of Unclashable at 50% health for no reason.
Now, what if I do like that idea that everybody starts off with Fatal Blow, but I feel like the way that they could change it would be to, like, instead of Fatal Blow being free, it costs maybe 2 bars, or maybe like one defensive bar or 2 bar. Like, kind of make it like how it is in like Street Fighter. So it's like you got this string off, and you can either you can launch and go into combo, and you have 2 defensive bar and 1 offensive bar still, so you can still go and use your Fatal Blow. But after your Fatal Blow, you're fucking exhausted. You know, I feel like that could have a little more weight to it, but I can see how, like, it being completely free, you're low health. Oh, I have this, I might as well just, like, spend it to try and take the round. I mean, I could definitely see that being, like, an interesting change for the game.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind having it cost meter as opposed to it being free, because then it would actually... Meter management would have a lot more weight to it, you know? It would be something more to, like, okay, I don't have meter to Fatal Blow right now. I'm gonna either, like, play back, or, you know, I have the meter.
You know, speaking of meter, what about if they changed, like, if they changed the meter system in general? I like what you're saying, Junk, with meter management. What if they changed it so that, like, instead of, like, certain things cost 25% instead of 50%, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, maybe your Fatal Blow costs, like I think that the meter management is such a cool idea that totally disappeared in this game. Totally disappeared.
Agree. I definitely agree. I mean, not really going towards U-Dream, but, like, in my opinion, I kind of like the old meter mechanic better, to be honest. But with this game, I want some incentive with meter management. Like, in this game, it feels like, say if I'm RoboCop, I'm full screen, I'm meter my gunshot. All I gotta do is throw a couple more projectiles out, play smart with my projectiles, and boom, I got my bar right back. Like, I want like an actual incentive to get this meter back. I'm not sure about, like, having different things cost, like, oh, this one costs like 2 full bars of meter burn. I don't know about that kind of thing, but I get what you're trying to say. I get what you're trying to, like, you know, trying to make some sort of incentive, but I just don't know how to really go to have that incentive other than just redoing the whole entire thing. Like,
I don't know how to do it either. You know, one of the things I genuinely miss in terms of meter management was the concept of, like, going for a restand and then chipping your opponent out so you could build the meter off of the chip, because, you know, blocking built meter for the person on offense. And then, of course, that introduced the mind game of, like, well, fuck, I'm dead, I might as well not block and take the hit, then I get the meter and he doesn't. And just that little bit of, like, sometimes having to decide to build the meter and just, like, okay, I'm going to build the meter here, or I'm going to do this thing right now to build extra meter. Even just, like, the little things of, like, some of the pressure that, like, required an extra bar of meter to do. Like, okay, he thinks I'm going to do this string. I'm going to stagger it, though, so I can get an extra hit in there to get an extra hit on block to build that more meter I need for the bar. Like, all of that little building meter on block and all of that stuff, that being gone, man, I do miss it. I don't know how they reintroduce it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
but I miss that.
I was gonna say, do we like the way that the meter comes back on its own, or do we miss how it used to be, where meter would be generated on offense, and, you know,
and when he took damage and stuff? I don't like passive meter. I don't like passive meter regeneration. I think that it is.
I agree.
It's like, especially when you compare it to active meter generation, I like the idea of, like, me doing something as a result as opposed to me just sitting there. As Cleve was saying, it creates scenarios where, like, RoboCop is like, well, let me just shoot some more and kill some more time.
Okay, all right, leave RoboCop alone. Let's focus on somebody that's actually broke. Cetrion, all right? Like,
well, whatever.
Come on. Murphy didn't do anything, okay?
Zoning, though.
Yeah, honestly,
but yeah, zoning, I definitely agree.
My opinion is that the meter system isn't really any different than what it was before. I don't really notice anything reasonably different. It
Well, I
doesn't
mean,
really
you
seem
have
to
the
matter that
lack
much.
of the gameplay aspect of it, where like you're not
Well,
worrying about building meter, you're
The
not worrying about
difference,
ending a round with all of your offensive bars intact because you're just gonna get it back while they're talking shit.
yeah, it's kind of like the way this game works on a more fundamental level is that to combo people, you pretty much need bar, and if you don't need bar, then you're not doing a lot of damage. In all the other games, it's just like you'd get 30% for breathing on them with no meter for like every character. So it's it just doesn't really register. Like, okay, you kill some time with RoboCop while you're zoning, right? But in MKX or Injustice, you would get that back just by shooting anyway, by killing time too. So it's not much of a difference in any like
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
when
know.
they block it, you build the meter back. I
any
guess
feasible.
I
position.
would
It's
like
not-
to agree
I
with that.
don't
that
really
they-
notice the difference. I mean, the only character where I can really notice the difference is Jade, but even then, it's like it doesn't really affect the gameplay. Honestly,
Well, okay, so I would agree that it doesn't
Doesn't really
affect the
affect
gameplay. It just affects like some of the aspects of like things you have to pay attention to or consider.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, the way that the game ends up working and the way that the launchers and everything are designed, I think is where you get the disconnect. So yeah, I that's why I'm saying I don't know how they would fix it. I don't think that they can just
they can't fix it. No.
meter. Yeah, exactly. Like it would take a huge overhaul.
I
On what
also
does and doesn't launch, and it'd be too much.
I don't mind it because it is pretty much just the same to me. Yeah, I think it was fun to occasionally think about specifically the mind game of like, all right, do I just take the hit? What do I do here? What's the idea? And I think that was fun, but ultimately pretty pointless and even somewhat rare. I think it just doesn't really affect real gameplay that much, just because of how the game actually works compared to other NRS games. It doesn't really make a difference for the most part. And if you were to change it to the other way, theoretically, pressure characters would be batshit crazy. So you'd have to figure out a way to change that. You'd have to figure out a way to redesign Jackie, because she'd be building the bar off of existing, and she'd just go into things like forever into forever into forever. And
the way the game currently exists could not work.
Yeah,
like they would need total overhaul.
I'm saying, yeah, granted, I'm picking some really high tier characters, but imagine if Jackie was bad. This would make her extremely good.
Can't do that.
Like at just the top rope, insane. And this would make Incension ridiculous. She'd be getting meter constantly without having to hardly spend it.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree that it doesn't work for MK11. The way the game
doesn't work for MK11, and I think that it doesn't work for good reasons, and I actually like it.
Well, it seems like MK11 is designed around this current meter system, right?
Yeah,
like, so
which
Jackie's
lets you
offense
play
is
the
designed
game
around
differently.
the cooldown. Yeah, it's designed around the cooldowns and stuff like that.
And it is designed around the cooldown, but it's still too good. I just want to make that clear, but continue. It's designed for MK12, actually. That's what we should say. But,
do we think that they're going to bring this back? There's a lot of outcry against it.
Say, man, they can bring back whatever they want as long as they don't bring back Jackie. They can bring back whatever they want.
You know, I'm gonna agree with that one, dude. But honestly, when it comes to MK12, I mean, I know we're dipping into the future by a large margin, but from the
That's very
high outcry about Breakaway, I think Breakaways is gonna be a Mortal Kombat 11 thing. I don't think it's gonna be something that they take with.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's changing.
I
think there was a way to fix Breakaway, in my opinion, which is to make it so that and just keeps you on the ground for a long amount of time, even give it an extra animation, something or another. Just make it so when you break away, you're on for a long amount of time, so you can't get punished for hitting them. Doesn't make sense. And then even after that, it's not perfect, but it's so much better. It's so easy to fix it and make it like 5 times better. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
I know, I definitely agree with Tigers too. Like, I've even seen some things on Twitter, just like kind of like sort of the same thing he was saying. It's like, just even if you stayed on the ground a little longer, even an animation or two, just for something to like where you not to the point where just you see what's happening. You just don't have to say, okay, if you break away this time, guess what? I get to punish you for a full combo because I have 2 defense bar, and you have to think about that all the time. Like,
And it
just
doesn't
for
got
some
offensive
sort of
meter.
thing.
Yeah, it's rough. Doesn't cost offensive meter. So if you get if you break away, you can literally start some characters 50% B&Bs in the corner just because like you broke away, lol.
Haha.
Just it's just like it's just no, it's just not good. So if they just made it so you can't punish people, you're chilling. You're chilling at that point.
I think breakaway is needs tweaks as well, but I don't necessarily disagree with some of the idea of like, well, I guess the changes that I would have to would fix this, but like if somebody reads or knows specifically when, like, I think the big example we all remember from the beta even is, Scorpion Spear, right? So if somebody knows when you're going to go for Spear and they break out underneath the Spear, then they can punish you for it. And that to me was not an awful idea, but the problem, especially if you introduce armor break, now I'm like, okay, well, now that armor break exists, can we introduce a mind game here? The problem then became which armor break they gave. So for example, if you were to make, I don't know, Demon Dash, Fire Breath, pick your fucking other Scorpion move as his armor break. And now the mind game is between canceling into the Spear, which they want to break out of, or canceling into the armor break. Then there's like a little bit more of a mind game where, okay, are you going to let him continue this big dumb long combo, or are you going to maybe take the hit, the shorter hitter earlier or whatever? So I think that would make sense, but it's like, that's just an idea that I haven't even fully fleshed out. But the way that it ends up working with how free form it is for people to armor break, and some people's armor breaks being ass, some people's being good, it's just like, man, this whole system
Most people's being ass.
Most of them are pretty bad. Yeah, most of the armor breaks are pretty bad.
You could probably count on one hand how many good ones there are.
Well, who are the good ones? What are the good ones that you like?
Total, Geras.
Kano, baby.
Kano is just, it's good, but it's okay. But Kano is really a combo character anyway.
The problems with Kano is that it's a normal. People, as soon as they see that you didn't do back one, then they're free to break away.
Yeah, that's
like as they see you do forward 1-1 or whatever.
Dude, that always happens. I do Kano Ball to end my combo, breakaway, get punished.
Yeah, it's you definitely want to never end combos with breakaway with Kano Ball as Kano. But good armor breakers. Let's see, we got Kodal, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah,
Geras.
I agree.
Geras, even if Geras is kind of hard to use, it's still very usable and really good.
It's solid.
Kung Lao, and after
Kung Lao,
that,
I don't think Kung Lao's is good at all. Why do you say Kung Lao's is good?
Because he can always, at the very minimum, after all of his combos, except after 1-2-1 enhance spin, that's the only thing you can break away before you can armor break. So you always have the option to armor break.
Can't you break out of spin, amplified spin though? Like spin?
No. Only you can only break away on it on the 1-2-1 string enhance. That's the only time where you can break away on it.
Really?
Yep, that's the only time. That's the only string you can break away on it.
Titanium with the knowledge.
Okay. I thought that it was a case of like Cassie's guns. Now you can break away out of Cassie's guns at all times. It's only on that one string. Okay.
It's only on that string. But that means you get the enforced armor break off of every single one of his launchers, which means at any time he could armor break, and it's a threat of armor breaking that increases his base damage by a lot and makes his going into spin way safer. Because you don't see it that often because there's almost no reason to read it because it's so good, or read against it because it's so dangerous if you read it wrong. And it's so safe to do it that he already gets a lot of damage if he does it. So it's just an extremely safe mind game for Kung Lao that he can enforce. Kodal's is absolutely ridiculous, especially with interesting thing about Kodal is the way his strings connect on hit. It's actually a very small window to break away for all of his strings before his armor breaker comes out, which is an interesting.
Yeah, Kodal's obnoxious.
It has interesting. It is forward 2 specifically, when an anti-airs has weird anti-breakaway functions and makes it incredibly difficult to break away. But yeah, the good armor breakers are like Cabal, Geras, Kung Lao, and Kodal. I'd have to think for more.
I like the way that Cabal's works. I think Cabal's is a good example of it doesn't feel overpoweredly good, but it does feel strong, and it introduces that mind game between, is he going to go for spin or hook grab to extend the combo, and that's where I want to break out, or is he going to end his combo earlier and snap my spine because I tried to break? And I think that's the interaction that I wish more of them had, because Cabal's, while good, doesn't feel like, oh, you can never get out of it, or like Kung Lao's like, well, it's just gonna happen every single time, or it's too scary to not. I like that Cabal's feels like, okay, this is all right, what are you gonna do? Like,
right.
I put you into the air, your turn, how are you going to respond? And then it incentivizes the Cabal player. He's got defensive bar, let me make the read here. And the way that it comes down, like the hit on it, isn't like this weird, like, well, you better do it now or else it's not going to hit. Like, too many of them end up whiffing if you don't hit it at the right exact moment.
Yeah.
Like, Geras is, I think, is an example of, like you said, it's a good one. Yes, it's a good one, but, like, if they break at a different timing, they don't fall fast enough into it. You know what I mean? Like, it can...
I forgot to mention that. Sorry, that Collectors is really good too. Go ahead, like really top tier.
Okay,
Definitely.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Sorry.
No.
His is the chakram, right?
No, it's that
yeah,
lantern
Relic
suck.
Lure, Relic Lure, yeah.
Yeah, it's super. It might be the best armor pick, honestly, but continue. Sorry.
But yeah,
Cool
the
move.
way that you can decide to if you don't think they're going to go for it, you can get out of it or whatever. And I think that should be how a lot of them are introduced. But so many of them end up not being that way. Like the launchers that you can do off of them don't work. The other thing too, I think that's a problem is with breakaways, because characters can break away anytime they're airborne. It does things like makes wake up jump fucking way more valuable, because now I anti-air jab you, and I either am doing jab into armor break, or you're just gonna instantly break out, and sometimes you've gotten out of the corner or whatever. And it's like, I don't like the idea of people being so free as to when they can do it. Personally, I think there should be more dedicated breakpoints, like after this launcher, after whatever. Okay, this is your chance. Are you going to break? If you decide to break and I decide to armor break you, get armor broken. And, if we make different decisions, then whatever. But I don't know. That's my big complaint with armor break and breakaway and stuff is I don't like how free it is for the defensive player to just do it whenever, and the offensive player is limited to having to special cancel and still having control of their character, for example.
All right.
A lot
Well,
of the reason why Jackie's so good too, leaves him standing.
well, to kind of close out the whole mechanics talk, I wanted to see what the whole group has to think about this for a last thing. Do we like crushing blows, yay or nay?
Yes.
Ooh,
I love crushing
I'm
blows.
iffy.
I think
I'm
it's
iffy.
so cool. What don't you like about them, Cleve? I'm here to sell you on crushing blows being awesome.
I like some crushing blows. I don't like some crushing blows.
Okay, that's
my
fair. If you
issue.
don't like some versus others, like which ones do you not like? I think we can all unanimously agree that Scream Crushing Blow is fucking
Oh,
awful.
fuck that. No, if it
Like
got into the game, I would be like, how to have a birthday party in my own room, like with 70 people. I don't care. Like, I hate that crushing blow. Some crushing blows I kind of like do. Like, I like the ones where you have to build up. Like, you have an incentive to use one move to build that crushing blow to have something big at the end of it.
Yes. Yes.
I like some crushing blows. I don't like Candles Forward 4. It's literally if the opponent does something, you are trying to make the opponent do something like late block. Why?
Late block should be removed from the game. Late block should be removed from the game.
What?
It is the dumbest crushing blow requirement in the game.
I think some things are cool. Like, I know I'm not really trying to say Shang Tsung's throw crushing blow is good. It's definitely not good, but like something cool. Like, hey, if I do this certain thing, then I have this throw crushing blow loaded, and I can do this. Like, obviously his is not good, but some things like they're more intriguing and more interesting, more like just different, like that.
Wait, so are you saying you don't like the Shang throw crushing blow requirement?
No, I don't like it, but I think some like, more creative ideas like that could be like something I would like.
Okay, so well, I think that one's cool. It's like a weird like, oh, I caught you, but it's not going to happen all the time. But I think it's still cool enough to it enforces that mix up or that mind game or whatever. Granted, they can start throw teching out of it, and his forward throw does no damage, so I guess it's not that heavy of a mind game when you really get deep into it. But yeah, I think late block should go. Junk, were you flabbergasted at the idea of are you about to defend late block?
Don't.
Junk, do you like late block as a crushing blow requirement?
All right.
He's silent.
Where did Junk go? Did we lose him?
Can't say
Is he
anything about
dead?
We might have lost him.
While Junk comes back, I actually want to say is with Shiva, I think it's her back three. How her back three crushing blows, if it like it goes over a low attack or get down poke, The crushing blows.
Correct.
That's what Kano. I like if Kano got that for forward 4.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. I was actually going to suggest that is instead of the late block, because I think late block is the worst crushing blow requirement in the game. It's not something that's even enforceable. It's just awful. It's so bad. But I like the concept of crushing blows, like you were saying, the way that they sort of incentivize you to, well, let me end my combo in this maybe less optimal way, but I can cash out on it later. For example, Joker doing his the bat thing over and over again, or Sub-Zero slide. I'm going to get him out of the corner. Yes, but the next time I catch him with a slide, I'm going to hit him for 35%. Now, granted, slide is an obnoxious move. Maybe we can talk about that later. But like, I like the idea of building toward it and then being able to cash out on that damage, and it creates this game of like, okay, do I just go for the big damage here because I want it here and now, or do I build for this crushing blow and cash out on it later? And that I think is really cool. So I wish that there was more of that. You know, I think that my biggest problem with crushing blows really is just useless crushing blows. So, you know, late block ones are all useless. Noob's back 3 is useless. You know, just crushing blows that can't trigger, basically.
One late block crushing mode that I actually think is useful. Okay, there's one in the game that I actually think is useful. Dark Elite actually taught me about this one, actually. Is the forward, so Shang's forward 2 obviously has a gap in it. It's plus if you finish it. If you use so if like old V3, obviously Dark Elite used the old V3.
Yeah, the Ermac lift.
Ermac lift. That was a kind of a guessing game. If you want to try and flawless block this, guess what? You late block to Ermac lift, boom, we get a crushing blow. That's the one late block crushing blow I like.
Yeah, I like that one. That's the only one I can think of. And sadly, the other moves that have late block in that don't have any interaction like that. Like Cassie doesn't have a bunch of flawless blockable strings to interact with shoulder. I guess she's got forward 3, so maybe you can do it off of forward 3. But
I would like to point out, talking about late block, crushing blow, Centurion's will trigger in the real matches if you know how to use it. And I have gotten it in tournament plenty of times.
Yeah, but isn't the crushing blow off of Vine Grab awful?
Vine Grab? Well, the times I've got it, I converted to the Fatal Blow and won the round because I only do it then. So, depends on your definition.
So it's got a super fringe use or whatever for it?
Which, I probably see that crushing blow more than I see a lot of crushing blows, actually.
Well, because it's a random. It's random.
If I want, well, what makes it not exactly random about late block crushing blows, except for Kanos. Kanos is a different thing.
Yeah.
But for most characters, the late block crushing blows is they're meant to catch people who are wave dashing. Same thing with Noob. The issue with a lot of characters crushing blows that are meant to catch people wave dashing like this is that noobs, most of them are punishable. Noobs is punishable, so you have to risk your life. And the reason you don't see it is because it's punishable. If it was safe, you would see the crushing blow, I wouldn't say every game, but every set, pretty much.
I disagree completely. They're like Cassie. You never see Cassie's back 1 crushing blow or any of them.
What's her back 1 crushing blow?
Actually, a back 1 crushing blow. When I play Samij, he gets that a lot, and I've gotten that on accident plenty of times. And again, that back 1 crushing blow as Cassie is unsafe.
Yeah, it's unsafe. But like, even if it was safe, I feel like she doesn't have a means of enforcing it. And because of it, it doesn't happen. I think, what is the other one? Baraka's glow poke crushing blow, the kebab thing or whatever. You can't actually mix with it. If they're in block zone, it doesn't count. The move is safe. You can do it. But like,
you're talking, wait. You're talking about the low?
That dude
leg
random.
kebab.
Yeah, the leg
Hello?
kebab that got a crushing blow.
Yeah, if you block high at crushing blows.
Yeah, it's the same requirements as the other two, the ones that we're talking about. Or
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not the same requirement.
What's the requirement for the leg one? Because
the leg kebab is if they're standing.
Yeah,
they're
standing.
Stand block,
not if they block lane.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, no, we're talking about Noob Cybots, though. Noob Cybot is...
Yeah,
is if
Noob Cybots is if they block lane. No, it's if they block lane.
No,
if they're
it's
stand
not.
blocking.
The back 3 crushing blow is if they block late. No, it's if they're stand blocking.
I'm on MK right now. I gotta check it. I gotta
Same
check
thing for
that.
Cassie.
Same thing.
I gotta check that. I gotta see if you're
In
right.
the
'Cause
lab
I'm
right
under the
now.
impression that is not. I'm going to the lab right now. Got Noob. Checking it right now. Fact check. Sorry, I've been under the impression this entire time
New player,
that's a block late. Hold on, I got it. I mean, you're a new player that gives you more credibility than me here. But hold on. I just gotta know for my own sanity. I
think the only late block crushing blows are the Cassie one, the Ermac lift, the Kano one, and the Cetrion Vine.
Oh, that's what got that weird shit. Yeah, it has that weird like, player cannot be in block stun.
So
yeah, well, which for that it's a normal, so it doesn't even matter. You can't,
so far,
that's weird. But,
So,
alright, cool.
I just want to say,
My bad.
so far we are pretty unanimous that everybody is happy with the crushing blow mechanic.
Crushing blows in general. I didn't really take a piece on that. Crushing blows in general to me are almost a nil subject. They are. I don't have an opinion on them. They are just a product of MK11 for their own way to make characters good in certain ways. I don't really care about the mechanic in a way. It's just like, sometimes you get more damage off of this B&B, blah, 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 under this scenario. Not really any different than any other game.
Like, making a read this one time is worth that much more.
Yeah,
Reading a throw one time per game is worth 40%.
It's just this game's version of it is the thing. Every game has a version.
But what is
of, like,
MKX's version of one time per round you can get 40%?
Pretty much just any B&B.
But that's not the same thing then. But if everything does that much damage, then there's no incentive to uppercut people. So
well,
now,
yeah, there's no
not even bother to use
uppercut, but it doesn't really. To me, it's just this game's version of like, under the scenario, if you make the right read, you get more damage, like in every other game. So it's like, whatever. I don't really.
I mean, arguably, you could break everything down to if you make the right read, you get more damage. Like that could be every single game ever.
No. To me, it's like arguing like, what do you think about characters getting this much damage? I'm like, well, I think it's neat, I think it's.
But I don't think it's a this much damage thing. I mean, the things that me and Cleve brought up, it incentivizes a different approach to the gameplay. For example, if we're going to compare it to MKX B&Bs. Do an MKX B&B, you do the max damage combo that you can efficiently do every single time you touch somebody, right? That is the way that you would do it. In MK11, though, if you decide to do that, you will then forego building your crushing blow. That would do more damage than the B&B later on down the line. Like, right? If you end every combo with Liu Kang in an amplified bicycle kick, you're not getting as much damage as if you did amplified dragon kick. But when you do the amplified or the bicycle crushing blow in round 3, now the payout is better. I think that is a game or a interaction that every Liu Kang player has to think about the entire time they're playing the game. Do I end in this and get this, or do I end in that? Noob Saibot, same thing with the clone. Do I end in low slide and start building the clone, or do I just go for teleport for max damage? Well, I guess the slide actually does more damage than the other ones, but it's like
the point is still there. I get it. To me, it's just almost. To me, it's almost like a. It's not really a question about. Well, it's not really a question about crushing blows as a whole. More like, how good is this character? Alright, the crushing blows are pretty good too. It's
we're just talking about crushing blows as a whole.
As a whole, I think it's almost a nil, pointless argument, or even conversation to be had from my perspective. It's just like, crushing blows is just kind of there to me.
So you're just saying that crushing blows are just something unique to Mortal Kombat 11 that add a little extra flair.
I wouldn't even say it's unique. I think the only thing unique about them is the animation. I think it doesn't really
adds flair to the game because no other game is like.
I think it's cool. I think they're cool visually, but from a gameplay perspective, I think they could have done literally anything and the game would be the same in that regard. It just doesn't really strike my fancy in that way, but I think they're cool. I think it's really entertaining to be like, I did 30% because of funny, but whatever.
So funny. All right. So, with that being said, let's change the topic now, and things might get a little heated here, but let's get into some tier talks. Who do we think are the top 5, and should NRS change the meta with nerfs/buffs? Start off with
right off the bat.
Okay, Dream wants to start off. Let's go.
Go for it, Dream.
I think if we're gonna ask the question of should NRS change the meta with nerfs and buffs, I think no. Like NRS with customs here, there is so much happening. There is so much depth to what the game currently has that I think NRS needs to, for the most part, and they've done this, take a more hands-off approach and let things kind of settle. Granted, there are some things, I'm not saying that they should never nerf anything. That's not what I'm saying. There are definitely things that need to be nerfed, but I do think that NRS shouldn't be the only thing that we look to fix certain things. I think that there were, like, for example, every single DLC character that's come out has been pegged with this character's ass, and then later on, maybe not so ass. Fujin, I think, is a prime example. Week 1 and 2 of Fujin was, look how bad this character is. Now people are talking about how Fujin is incredibly strong. And that was not because NRS stepped in and buffed him, but because the players took the time to figure it out. So I think that I like that NRS has been taking a stance of, hey, you guys figure this out with customs now here. There's a lot to figure out. So I think for a little bit, aside from maybe a handful of standout characters, Jackie Briggs, there aren't any really significant needs for buffs or nerfs here or there. I even think, and Junk is going to disagree with me, that RoboCop is fine. That RoboCop players need to fucking figure it out, need to like step it up and figure it out. Izzy has been able to figure it out. Arn Kratos has been able to figure it out. They just let you get your flamethrower and your command grab together. I think the problem might be you guys and not RoboCop. I'm just saying.
No, dude, no. Okay, no. RoboCop's got some issues, bro. His jump 2 is trash, dude. His fucking back 2 being a high, however slow it is, dude. Buff Robo.
Let's speak for the next Jackie Briggs, guys. Come on, buff Robo.
Definitely buff RoboCop though.
Thank you. Fuck. Thank you.
Like, you guys know the idea that a character has a handful. Like, yes, RoboCop has some bad moves. RoboCop has some moves that could use some changes. Everybody could make that argument for every character.
No, you can't.
Yes,
you really can't.
You can. Yes, you can.
I'll get into it when it's my turn to make my piece, but RoboCop is definitely a different conversation to be had. But
No. I'm just saying the idea that, like, you need to. I'm sure that RoboCop is a struggle character. RoboCop might even be at the bottom of the tier list, sure, but it's MK11, which is an incredibly balanced game, and characters at the bottom of the tier list can still win. Like, that's how squished the top and the bottom is. That you can still win, and while it might be a little bit of a struggle, characters like Shao and RoboCop in the right hands with enough patience and the right player that's willing to do the work can find a winning answer. Shao just won the EU, like the opening event for the Pro Tour. Like, the characters can.
Yeah, but if RoboCop won that, would you say, oh yeah, see, RoboCop's fine?
Yes, I 100% would say that.
No, that just because a character wins a tournament, I don't believe means that they don't need buffs or they don't need some fixes or anything like that.
But why?
Like,
but if a player is able to take a character to a victory, to win, can figure out the winning
strategy. You can take any character to a victory.
Okay, so then why do characters even need to be? I mean, the idea should be buffing characters that.
It's about it's about the greater chance of getting that victory. Sure, a person that played RoboCop, versus somebody who just started playing the game. Yeah, sure, they're gonna get the victory because they don't know what they're doing, but it doesn't add sway to the fact that RoboCop does have some issues. If you're playing against a Jackie Briggs and you're RoboCop, yeah, you might be able to win, but the advantage is definitely on Jackie's side.
But is it on Jackie's side because Jackie has blatantly better tools, or is it because RoboCop?
Yes.
Just like yes.
Absolutely,
dude. Doug's not gonna listen to me anyway. He's stuck on this kick that the character that he plays is bad.
Bro, no, I'm not. Dude, I'm not saying that he's. I'm not saying that he's like so bad.
Is definitely significantly worse than Shao Kahn. Significantly worse than Shao Kahn.
It's just the man does need some help, dude. It's a big issue when his jump-ins whiff so hard. Like, I can't even jail into my back too.
Using a jump-in as RoboCop.
Dude,
it's like, there we go.
It's the only
the difference in argument is that, like, you have one RoboCop player that's like, yo, let me get better jump-ins, and then you have other RoboCop players that are like, what are you doing jumping
honestly, don't jump. Stay on the ground.
Oh my god. Like, that's the difference.
You're telling me not to jump in Mortal Kombat 11.
I know, which is also really rough.
I'm telling you not to do that. I'm telling you
It's like
your
it's a
character isn't
catch-22.
good at doing it. If your character
I love
isn't
this.
good at doing it, if that's not what your character's designed to do, then maybe they're not going to be good at doing it, and you should do something different.
Bro, but come on,
hear
like,
me out,
all right,
hear me
there's a
out.
difference
Look,
between
Moondog.
just not doing it and me actually getting the right timing to punish somebody and it just completely whiffing because the
Sounds like you
hitbox
didn't
on
have
it.
the right timing, bro.
Oh
Sounds
my
like you didn't
god,
have the
dude,
right
that's
timing.
not fair. Come on, you know,
It
dude.
is fair, because
I haven't
if
pl-
you were to do
I
that
have
same
not been
situation
playing mo-
every single time, then that
Alright,
Duncan
please
would
take it
never
away.
punish.
I
It would
have
never
not.
punish.
Let's go.
Please take it away.
We're gonna go get off the Robocops. I actually wanted to point something Dream you said earlier when you first started this conversation about you. Everybody talked about Fujin. People didn't look at him as a great character at the very beginning. By the way, I actually thought he was a great character at the beginning. Not just gonna brag on him, but
I actually don't know who thought he was bad, but go ahead.
I thought he was good when he first came out, but some people didn't. So
Funny,
that's
dude, there
the
were
issue.
plenty of people saying everybody's done it.
I will
Everybody's
agree.
done it.
I will
people
agree. I
talking
saw a
about
lot of people
RoboCop's
saying
the
that
worst in
Fujin
the
was
game,
trash.
RoboCop's the best. Rambo's the worst in the game. Rambo's the best. Everybody's talking about how Melina's bad. Melina just won Champions of the Realm. Like,
That's what I want to talk about. Is Melina and Rambo right now two characters that I think.
bad.
I think
Go ahead.
first of all, Rambo is extremely underexplored right now. I don't think there's a stance where you can take to Rambo saying he's good or bad right now. I think he needs to be more
Agreed.
explored.
more exploration. I think that's going to be my flag on every character, though. Explore more.
I was talking to Striker. Obviously, Striker, one of my good friends. He plays Rainbow recently. He's really trying to like dig out what he can do, and he's talking about like how some Rainbow players honestly just aren't up to like what level he's at, like how much experience he's had, how much labbing he's had, how much like this matchup uses this certain thing and this matchup don't use a certain thing. This move is better than this move. Like you just gotta like Rainbow right now is my main example. Just explore Rainbow. Like he's not that bad if you just explore what he's really going for.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. That the characters take a lot of exploration, and some of that exploration is maybe difficult or whatever. Like, I think the argument that I would make, and I don't want to get too off track here, would be like, let's just say all of a sudden RoboCop, there's some new player on the scene playing RoboCop. He wins every tournament. He's unbeatable. Nobody can beat him. RoboCop has been unchanged. That's just what happens. I don't want to have a discussion about whether or not he could do it, but let's just say that he does do it. What does that mean? Does that mean that RoboCop is actually good and we all need to get better and learn about it, or are we trying to suggest that this person has supernatural powers and can do things with a character that nobody else can?
That's actually a very interesting, complicated answer. The state of how good players are in this game, how good everybody is in this game, right, is significantly better than how everybody was in Injustice 2, and is significantly, monstrously better than how everybody was in MKX.
I mean,
So
MK9 was ran by the Capcom boys.
Yeah, and so basically what I'm saying is to say that that you'd have to be supernaturally good to win with RoboCop is just inaccurate. It's dishonest.
No, I'm not saying somebody
You could-
naturally
you-
good. I'm
the
saying
player-
somebody
there could
from
be- sorry.
like the Middle East that we haven't heard of before. You know, like there are scenes, there are untapped potential. There are players that come from areas that we haven't seen. Arslan Ash is a great example of in a different game, a player that he was playing in a strong scene. He started competing, all of a sudden out of nowhere he's winning. Ninja Killa is arguably the example from MKX, right? Like he didn't play, but he was really good, and he's crushing it with Liu Kang, a character that many people thought was good, but you know he was able to do some crazy things. And I'm just suggesting that what if, you know, a crazier suggestion would be somebody to do that with a character that we all have thought is not good. I think the big example I go back to is like in Street Fighter 4, there's a character Gen. Everybody thought that character was awful. Then Shen is bringing that character out, and he actually takes the time to learn how to play that character and manage the two different stances properly. And all of a sudden, Gen is up on tier list because this one player was willing to figure it out. And I think that there isn't this, like, you can't say X player breaks the game. You know, people look at Video Games Yo and Shao. It's not a case of Video Games Yo being a supernatural being that can break the game and make Shao's F3 an 8-frame mid. That's not what it is. He is using the same tools everybody else has, but he's using them more effectively. And if he can do it, so can other people. They just need to get there.
It's somewhat of a complicated thing to answer, and too much of a meaty idea to really pick apart exactly.
Media idea.
It's kind of well, as you're literally not wrong with the general basis, which is like it's not that, as an example, VGY, it's not that like he, of course, is making Xiao do things he's not designed to do. It's the way MK election. Of course not. Yeah, your point being is that he's making a low tier character work, and this is an example of it, right? But it's just because he is really good, and Xiao is bad, but he's just barely in bottom 5.
Yes.
And in a game that is significantly balanced towards making the lower tiers pretty much the same as mid tiers, being pretty much the same as top tiers, it's not unreasonable for low tiers to win tournaments in this game. It's really not.
Okay, so then in that case, then do we still need to demand buffs and nerfs for characters?
Well, I haven't even gotten into that, by the way. I haven't said anything on that.
Oh god.
Well, if the tiers are so squished, I think then we don't need to. Then everything's great. And then I'm good. I'm good. If everything's
Dream, give my boy RoboCop some buffs.
Okay, so my opinion on the buffs and nerfs is that this game is incredibly well balanced, aside from the top 3 or 4 characters that are just so outrageously ahead of the pack. For example, there's no reason in MK11 to not use Jackie. There's not even one. She doesn't lose a single matchup. It's arguable that she wins every single matchup in the game. If you apply every custom, she probably beats every character in the entire game, Meta Knight style. So the balance is really good up until you look at characters like Jackie.
Could you say the same for Cetrion?
Well, the issue with Cetrion is she's the second best, and she's way too good. Way too good. But she actually loses matchups. Which Jackie does not even come close to losing one.
I think Cetrion's problem might be that her game plan is a little bit more one-dimensional, right? It's a little bit more like, okay, this is what she's going to do, and then some characters...
That's significantly more complicated. I would say her game plan is more 3 or even 4-dimensional than most characters in this game. It just doesn't appear that way because you're so broke. She's so incredibly broke, it doesn't even feel that way.
But if she gets some losing matchups because certain characters have a tool that can really throw off her game plan, and those tools for Jackie's game plan, there are no tools in the game that throw off Jackie's.
There are no tools in the game that stop you from pressing down and up, sadly.
Dude, and even
can stop you from zoning.
To just go off the Jackie topic, and I'll let you talk again, Tigers. Like, I even saw Jukes put a tweet saying that you can get her shrapnel or her grenade launcher at a specific time. So if people flawless block up to it, it whiffs and you punish.
I saw that.
It's like, what?
I saw that.
And that's actually a dishonest. Well, I mean, I would say that doesn't matter because the frames that, the timing you use to do shrapnel changes every time you do it, and the window's still 3 frames for that. So, for floaty moves like that, flawless blocking is not reasonable or matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good option. That's a desperate option.
Yeah, well, you're playing against Jackie Briggs. What else do you gotta do, dude? What are your options?
Yeah, that's sadly this case is you have to be put at an extremely unfavorable position at all times against the game.
And
that should do 38%.
Jackie hater.
Okay, so yeah, sorry. I think this game is really balanced up until you get to the top 2 or 3, and then it becomes the most unbalanced NOS game they've ever made.
I don't know, man. MK9 Cabal, I feel, is a really good argument.
If MK9 Cabal lost even one matchup, then it's a more balanced game.
I don't think he lost any matchups. I think.
Well, then fuck it. We're MK9 in here.
No, Cabal.
Matchup is 6-4 her favor.
Let's go. Pick up Jackie. Let's go all Jackies every turn. Let's go.
I mean, that's
entirely too many Jackies.
But that's the thing, right? It's like you have to Jackie is one of those characters where everybody should have one.
No, it's not just everybody should have one. Everybody, if they wanted
Make
to
her.
care about nothing but winning,
Just make her.
just play Jackie. There is no
Honestly.
situation where you do not want to play Jackie.
That's what I'm talking
She
about. Yeah.
is triple S tier in the realist form. She does not lose a matchup. She doesn't go even in a matchup. She just wins every matchup. Especially if you consider that she has customs that you can mix and match. And especially if you count all the 7-3s that she has in her favor. It's just, that is probably the worst balancing they've had in a long time with that character.
I don't know, man. If you play Injustice at
And
once,
not to mention,
remember the blocking.
Wait, let's not start bringing it.
Chill. I didn't play Injustice. Just in the games I played.
Okay, MK9 overall was awful, and Injustice for a year, Superman would just block Infinite You from the start of the game.
Let's go.
I didn't play. I only played fucking MKX. That's the only one.
Okay.
Everything up into like MKX and up is what I played.
X has been,
before that.
as somebody that's been playing the NRS games since they since they've been NetherRealm basically.
Yeah.
MKX is the first one where they really hit a decent stride with the balancing, and even in that, I'll be
Thank
honest,
God.
it wasn't until the October patch that kind of normalized. That's the word they used, the armor.
I actually got it after. I actually got the game after that.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so you didn't even
my
play
first
in
experience.
the...
Yeah, I didn't experience hell.
dude,
I wasn't around for that.
Alien had a armored launching overhead advance.
Oh yeah,
So many adjectives.
Let's go.
Okay, but yeah, I think this game is incredibly unbalanced if you take everything into consideration. But match to match, it's the most balanced NRS game. But tournament style, it's the least balanced because oh my god, Jackie is not okay, and Centurion is not okay either. These characters are not okay.
We were trying to talk about the top 5 here. So you said Jackie and Cetrion. Who do you guys think are? I think I would agree. Jackie and Cetrion would be my top 2 as well. Does anybody have a different top 2?
In my opinion. My opinion, I think a lot of people agree on this one too. Is like Jackie, Cetrion, Joker, Lou, Johnny. Like that's what kind of my top 5 is.
See, I want to put Sub-Zero up there personally. I think Sub-Zero.
I wouldn't see
super
Sub-Zero.
strong.
I think-
untiered for me.
I think honestly everybody has the
That's
top
why-
4, and then the 5th spot gets swapped up between certain characters.
All right, well, who's
I
number
got a
3
top
then?
5.
Who's number 3 real quick before we? Who's number 3? Is 3
I think
Joker?
I think you named them all, dude. Jackie, Cetrion, Joker, Liu Kang. Those are the top
And-
4.
All right, Tigers, you agree with as well? Joker and Liu Kang? Are they rounding out
No,
yours?
my top 5 is Jackie, Centurion, Lou. Then after that, it gets a lot fuzzier. But I'm looking at the cast right now, just getting a good eye full here.
Well, you got Lou on there, so
I would
we're
say-
3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
So
I would
all of us-
say definitely Kodal, but
Okay.
after that, it depends on if I want to put Sub-Zero on my tier list, which I normally don't. If I did put Sub-Zero on my tier list, I'd say him. Otherwise, maybe Cabal.
Okay,
But,
so
Sub-Zero-
I'm gonna echo Tigers' stance here, and I'm gonna run the same list that he's got. Actually, I think I'm more in agreement with that. I don't think that Johnny is as strong as you guys are saying. So I would think that it is going to be Cetrion or Jackie, then Cetrion, then Lou. I think Lou is really strong, so we'll see. And then I think it's also Kodal. I think Kodal is incredibly powerful. And then I'd say Sub. I think Sub is, with how powerful Slide is and the way that Sub has, much like Jackie, just such a great arsenal to choose from tools-wise. He can cover a lot of different matchups. The tools that he has are really strong. I think that Sub makes a solid argument for top 5.
And I also need to see and explore Shiva more. But
Shiva
I
could
definitely
start to
have to.
break it out of there.
Yeah.
You play.
but
Foxy had so many matches with her.
Yeah.
I normally don't put Sub-Zero on my tier list because he's, I mean, like, Jackie's really easy to play. I'd say she's probably the second easiest character in the game to play. But Sub-Zero takes that to a whole new level. He's not even playing fighting games anymore to me. So it's difficult to tier him because he's not even real to me. It's like this fever dream you might wake up to.
See, yeah, Sub I definitely think is like an interesting topic. I mean, like 50-50 based. His jump one's amazing. Slide crushing level. There's a lot of things good about him, but his main game is 50-50s. You can't really rank that like accordingly to every single thing. So leaving him untiered is kind of an easy way to let it out, which I kind of go for. I mean, and also with the top 5 in general, I definitely like would mix in like I think obviously Jackie, Cetron, Joker, Lou, Johnny, my top 5, but I would mix in like he said, Kodal is kind of in that area.
I mean, there's like 12 characters in the top 5, right? Like we can all admit they're the top 5.
We have a solid
way,
3
way
though.
too-
That is for sure.
Like,
We have like our
a lot
top
of
3 for
characters.
sure. And then when it gets to 4 and 5, it gets it changes it
I-
up. I agree
would
with
say
Cleve.
Kodal is clearly like above rest of like top 15, like very clearly.
This is
to me
after he
anyway.
got his buffs, right?
Yeah, after like they buffed Kodal more than any other character in the game together last patch.
Why? Why?
They gave him 3 huge buffs last patch, which is more than every character other got like combined. I don't know why, but you know, I'm here for it. You know.
Tell me why. You know why do they give him 3 huge buffs? Do you know why? Because I don't. Exactly. Like,
And they go
And
they go and ban
That's
2
what you do.
cosmetics or 2 custom variations for RoboCop? Like, come on.
They did. Unban them. They're not like that anymore.
I know, but I'm just saying when that patch first came out.
Hey man, you know I'm here for you know if they want to buff Kodal, I mean you know I like.
Hey, dude, I've seen the work you can do with Kodal Tigers,
I mean,
and it's
you
dirty.
play Kodal, you just like stand fucking mash down 2 in the corner and you win somehow. It's pretty fun.
sick.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I definitely ring the same as Cleve. I think Joker is still in for sure the top 5. I mean, the
And
fact
now
that he
a
has a
really good
cancel.
combo, like starter.
Huh?
Huge damage.
Yeah.
Because you can with customs, you can put the combo starter in there. You can still have the amazing jack. It's just a lot of things you can have in there.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
has a
it's
lot of
complicated.
tools to his disposal, and I mean, even though I feel like Kano did get a huge buff, and he got pushed up, I definitely feel like he got
Oh,
pushed
definitely.
up. And-
Kano's definitely a topic for me.
He's one of the characters that I think has the most variability when it comes to like customs. Like, there's so much you can do with him versus like a lot of other characters that are like say
Ugh.
easy. You know, Jackie. It's like, dude, she's got her best loadout. Why are you using anything else?
just leap.
Yeah.
Sleep, bro.
Yeah.
Just
Next
sleep.
gen
Um,
upgraded, but
And then just oh, hate it.
I mean, John, see, Kano's like a topic that like. Obviously, I've been main Kano since the day one. Like I've had the struggles. I understand, you know, a lot of stuff about the character. I'm not the greatest player in the world, but I definitely, you know, I can hold my own. But Kano this patch is just such a character where, with your variation, you were saying variations, kind of throw them. You can use a couple variations. In my opinion, I think the most useful and most like well-rounded variations: command grab, acid, and biopool. But you can kind of mix in manhandled in there, which I prefer to use manhandled command grab than a couple. Like, you know, I could interchange with biopool, interchange with acid, just because that's how I want to play. I want to kind of play it like a ripper without the parry. That's how I kind of want to play the character. But obviously, dirtbag is like where, you know, like everybody was using him. You know, dirtbag 4-1 mix-ups all day. And now that you can, you know, jail into 4-2 on 4-1 all the time. You have +2 all the time. You're +1 all the time. You do whatever you want. Having command grab and acid at the same time, while also having a combo starter at all times in biopool, it's just extremely good, like all the time.
yeah, it's definitely useful. And I've been having a lot of fun with. I know a lot of people don't use it, but it's definitely high risk, high reward. But Snakebite, I mean, I've been using Snakebite with the lumbar check because it gives you that down 150-50.
Ooh.
And if they
See-
guess wrong, you get a combo. If they guess wrong again, you get a lumbar check. So it's fun. It's fun to have some
It's definitely
changes
fun.
with a certain character that you play. So not all other characters are fortunate enough to have that ability. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
and some people don't even care if they have that ability. Some people, like, you know, Tigers was saying earlier, just want to win. So they're going to pick up Jackie and they're going to do the Jackie
Mhm.
things, you know? So I definitely agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Jackie, I don't want to keep adding to the conversation, but she is just like, you wonder why I've actually been recently for the past like 3 days trying to pick up Jackie a little bit because I'm like, why am I not using this character? What is the point in using any other character in this game when I could use Jackie?
Having
boom,
fun.
wins. Have like,
Right,
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally just gonna, if I'm gonna play in tournament, which I really don't do as often anymore, but if I'm gonna play in tournament, I might as well use Jackie. Like, I'm like, Izzy, buddy, come and live with me. We're gonna play some Jackie. We're gonna do some Jackie. Like, I mean, I've one of, like, I talk to Izzy all the time. We were obviously teammates in 2v2. Like, he's one of the best Jackies. I'm gonna learn from the best. Like, I might as well just pick this character up if I have the, the will to, and one of the best players to do that.
Yeah, definitely. So
Jackie's boring as hell to me, but continue.
no,
Oh,
I
she
mean,
definitely is. But if I want
she
to win, I'm
definitely
using her.
is.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it. They just like must have no soul and they just want to win. Well, that's fine if you do, but oh my god,
Winning is fun.
she's just so.
many would say.
Winning is fun, but like when I win as Jackie, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really happy. Good job.
Oh,
Me?
trust me, if I start playing in a tournament and I win, I'll literally just say to the tournament, sorry, I'm carried. Like, I'm sorry. Man, I just want to
That's
win.
what I say.
might be carried,
That's what
but
I say to people.
fuck it. I'm not going to lie to him. I am if I'm
You gotta
losing Jackie. I'm
apologize for that
sorry.
shit. Yeah, you gotta fucking apologize. You've done a serious sin.
I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny it. I am. Sorry.
Cheating on Kano. All right, guys. So let's move on to the last topic. Something that I just want to go over semi quick, but let's go into some character specifics. I'm gonna start off with Cleve and work our way down. So, Cleve, who do you play, and what changes would you like, and is there anything that hinders your character?
Ooh. Well, yeah, I maybe talked about Kano a lot too, and like I was kind of fear. I was reading the thing. I was like, I kind of want to talk about Kano here, but yeah, Kano. Like I said before, all the topics about is kind of variation kind of thing. Him having 4-1+ constantly all the time is a huge factor. You have down one mind game all the time. You can start like so. What players like to do too is when they want to try and false block your down one after your plus range. Boom, they get their turn back. As even talking earlier, where like Tiger was like that reversal kind of false block mind game in the whole entire game. You can false block my down one, you get a combo. But if you try and do that, then here's me with my other mind games. Then I can start baiting your false block. Then I can start doing this, that overhead command grab, whatsoever I can do with Kano. In my opinion, to change him, he should not have 4-1+ all the time. To have Kano, because right now, honestly, this is why I've kind of strayed away from Kano, is he's kind of boring to me. Like, being +2 all the time isn't really that fun to me. It's kind of like a knockoff Highborn. I don't want to do this. I think they should remove +2 off his 4-1, make it -2, just make it safe. Have a safe mid, don't make it his plus anymore. Takes away the whole 4-1 mind game, and then if I want to go far, if I really just want to make this character completely fun, a little bit, not let's say broken, but just more fun, honestly, make Manhandle universal. Why not? Just
Yeah.
if
Hell
I have
yeah.
some fun, put Manhandle there, then I can actually run command grab, biopool, acid plus Manhandle. You know how much fun that would be?
Oh, it'd be so fun.
Little, but it would be damn fun. And
be
also,
so
I'm playing a lot of RoboCop. RoboCop is so much fun, but his matchups, there's some matchups you just can't do it, man.
There's just
I
none.
refuse to play.
Yeah.
I even played in the 2v tournament too. Like, I love me some RoboCop. But if you're playing Jade against me, good fucking luck. I'm not picking RoboCop. I'll play
You mean
anybody
Jade? You mean Aaron Black with Scudshot? You mean Sindel with Low Scream? It's like
but-
So you meant the entire cast.
I think RoboCop's cool, but a tool that RoboCop's definitely missing as a zoner, which when you look at some of the other zoners, Shang and Cetrion, RoboCop is missing that projectile that's not a projectile. You know what I mean? That projectile that goes through Glow, that goes through Scudshot, and sadly, all of his
like the
projectiles
Shane
are.
Corp job.
Yeah, exactly. The Shane Corpse drop, the Vine Grab that can actually be used to deal with people that are looking to just kind of like, oh, I see that you're playing a character that likes the zone. Well, here, let me shut that down completely. So I think that is I think would probably be the thing that RoboCop would need. I think just off the top of my head, if they made the grenade launcher like a physical thing they had to deal with, then that would probably skyrocket him. That would make the Jade matchup much more deal with.
I don't think it should fizzle on hit, dude. If the grenade launcher is out and it's at their feet and I get hit, it fizzles.
Please, Junk, speak.
I don't like that. That's not fair. When other people
Let me have your tears. Your projectile.
Yo!
Wait, I'm so sorry. I had Noob and Noob was top 5 as well. I forgot. Gotta remove. Couple
Okay.
Noob's up there.
Yeah,
Noob's
Noob
up
was
there.
definitely top 5. Sorry. Continue.
Cry about it. Your projectile goes away.
Bro, but that's a different story, dude. You have a teleport.
It's a clone that with sentience. Okay.
Fuck your homie. Give me my grenade.
Like, come on. I
We should-
I don't know.
Look, I'll meet you in the middle. We'll get a bipartisan bill passed through Congress, allowing both of those to stick around.
All right.
No,
All right.
no, unreasonable. It's NOS's duty to make this balanced.
All right, Dream. Let's move to Dream. So, Dream, who do you play? What do you think? What changes would you like, and what hinders your character?
Objection.
I mean, well, I just play Rambo lately. I've become a Rambo player. I've also been playing a little bit of Cassie. I'm really enjoying customs. I think that's been the key thing for me, is that being able to kind of play around with different variations has been fun. As far as changes go, Rambo's too new, so I have no idea what I'd like to see change with Rambo. I think, there's some I think the blatant one, make his back one an actual mid. Maybe that'd be the first thing on the list. As it's currently, you can just duck underneath it. So it's like, what's the point? It's 18 frames, and it's basically a high. The only thing about it is it can't be uppercut crushing blowed, I guess. So that's kind of annoying, but otherwise, I don't necessarily see any blatant problems that I would want to blame on Rambo that are not maybe problems that I'm having, right? Like, I mean, I think I'm one of the players that is quick to be like, is this a me thing or a character thing? And more often than not, it's a me thing. It's like, okay, maybe I need to figure this out a little better. Maybe I need to get the timing better at this because, the character can do this. I just need to do it. So I don't think Rambo needs any changes. I haven't played. Cassie's probably the character I played the second most other than Noob. I don't really have this. I have the same situation with Cassie. I don't really know what I'd like to change about her. I think maybe the worst thing about her that comes to mind is I don't like that she has 950 health. I think that the adjustments they made to the health numbers were made early on in an attempt to balance characters that were perceived as strong early, like Sonya and Jackie and Cassie. And now that the game has kind of run its course, the only character that is still just as strong is Jackie. And this is before upgraded exists, right? Like, they did this when she was just being the first round KO character, right? Pretty sure that's when they changed her health anyway. So I think that Cassie having 950 health doesn't make as much sense. And I think the same for the other characters with more health too. Like, Kotal's health was changed, and now the game's at a completely different place.
That's so funny. Oh
Kotal needs 1100 health anymore. Shao, maybe he can keep his health.
Don't you say that.
He kind of struggles, but I don't think Kotal needs the 1100. I don't think Cassie needs 950. I don't think Sonya needs 950. And I think another thing too about the health changes, why have they not introduced that more? Why didn't Shiva come out with more health? Or, why didn't some of these other characters get that treatment? I like the idea of the balance of that being an approach to balance as well. Okay, well, this character has more health or less health, but why aren't we seeing Cetrion with 850 health? I mean, like,
850? Fuck.
850, yes. Sign my change.org.
I agree. That's fair.
So, I mean, jokes aside, I do think they should introduce, if they're going to have differential health numbers, they should introduce it more universally. It should not be a case of there are 3 characters with less health, 2 characters with more, and that's it. And arguably the reasons for their health changes are not even valid anymore, right? Like, they nerfed Sonya's damage routes when they changed air control. Does she still need to lose the health? Or is it this weird NRS thing? Well, we don't want to go back on shit that we've done. I mean, fuck you, dude. Revert the change.
Man, I'm a big fan. Kotal has 100 extra health. That's so funny. There's no point of it. No reason. It's just so funny. Oh, yeah, it's so funny.
Remember this.
From the Sun Totem or from the Sun, it's absurd.
They had this 1100 health and then still decided to give him 3 more big buffs. But okay, that's just me.
Such a big fan.
I don't know why they didn't ever make any changes to that.
Thank you, NRS. Very cool.
And then I guess what do you think that hinders my character? What do I think hinders Rambo? I think that Rambo doesn't do a lot of damage if you're not taking the snare trap. I don't like playing with the snare trap. I feel like it's too everybody else is doing it, and that's not a good reason to not do something. But
people use snare trap.
Yeah, I don't think snare trap
every Rambo that I've run into a snare trap on it.
I would not. If you're trying to use optimal Rambo,
I can't imagine not using Claymore, honestly. That's crazy.
Yeah, Claymore.
Yeah, for me, that's the same thing. I like Claymore. Claymore's fun. Claymore's lulzy. Claymore gets me killed. Claymore has had me laughing at this game more than I think the whole first year of playing it. And I have just cackled and had some truly evil moments with the Claymore. So the Claymore has been a lot of fun. But I think that, Rambo's damage-wise, he's got a meterless launcher. It's super unsafe. Alarmingly enough, though, a bunch of players run away when they block it instead of punishing you. But that's a different story. But so his launcher goes into like 25%. Is about how much damage he
it's
gets
pretty
off that
rough.
launcher. So he's basically hitting for Cetrion numbers, and he does not have the zoning. He does have some better up close game though, because he's got like the command grab, and he's got some interesting tick throws with the crawl, which is what I've been using. I use the crawl because the command grab from that is a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that where he struggles at it is probably just maybe in the damage department. If you look at some other characters, they have like Rambo doesn't even have the option to spend meter on damage if you don't take the abilities that do that. And you know what? That's the problem that a bunch of characters have. So that's kind of the fate that I chose. But yeah, that's where I'm at with Rambo. I guess I like Rambo though. Rambo's fun. That's the important thing for me when I picked up Rambo, was that he's fun. And I've been having a ton of fun. The Claymore, like Tiger's saying, so much fun. Just trapping people with it, getting blown up, hilarious brutality, like. It's got a bunch of shit that you would want in a move.
It's a very goofy move. Very fun.
Very
It
goofy.
doesn't feel overpoweredly broken. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't found
I've seen things with Striker.
Oh yeah, I've seen some things that are strong. I've definitely if people don't have defensive meter, they're fucked. Like it is one of those things where like you better have the resources for it. And whenever anybody does a get up attack on it or delay wake ups underneath the Claymore, it's just it warms my heart. Like, oh, you think you're gonna avoid it by hanging out with it longer, you idiot. So
just flawless block again.
Hang out with
yeah, right. So I mean, but once people catch on, they'll start to roll out of it. Instant jumping out of it. Also, it's like it feels like a toss.
You can chase people. No matter how plus you are on the knockdown, sadly, you can actually wake up buttons and get out of it. No matter what setup you do for it. But don't tell anybody that, because then I can't claim more in the corner. So don't.
I'll clip it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They have to have the string that moves them far enough away from it quickly.
Which every character I think has actually. Like it actually gives you more time than you might think.
Yeah.
To do it.
People panic. Right now, people are panicking. It's a gimmick.
Yeah, right now people are panicking, and it's a gimmick. But don't tell anybody, because I'm trying to first to one ninja killer later. But
have a conversation that is meant for our ears only. We're blood packed right now. This never.
Yeah, chat. Yeah,
blood packed.
You better listen to us, chat.
Wait, is somebody streaming this?
What? Inconceivable.
Will be uploaded to YouTube. And yes, sir. So Tigers, you're up now. What characters do you play? What do you want changed, and what hinders?
I play everybody. My name is Tigers. I play everybody.
Who are the top three you've been enjoying the most? That's probably an easier way to narrow it down.
Yeah.
The characters you've been having the most fun with.
Most fun with?
Fun, yes. Fun is the key factor here.
Fun? Frost is pretty fun. Fun. Terminator's pretty fun.
I like how fun is just a subject that's not even like fun.
Yeah, I don't really associate that with MK11. But I would say Terminator. Yeah, he's pretty bad. Pretty garbage. Bottom two, in my opinion.
Who are your best characters? I should say. I want to know your best characters.
Godel and Centurion.
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective, I'm the objectively best Kotal Khan, and I'm roughly the second best Centurion, excluding maybe like a secondary that like Rewind has or something. He might be the second best, but
you're the best.
What about Dragon?
Oh yeah, absolutely the best Kotal Khan. Dragon's the best Centurion. It should be without question that I'm the best Kotal Khan. I don't really see it as a debate.
Question.
I don't really see it as one, but I understand from other people's perspective. I could see from other people's perspective that doesn't really like
Outworld at Outworld finals. If you got second in Outworld finals, my bad. Like I'm talking just tournament results. What is your best Kotal placing?
I don't know. I've played him throughout a long period of time. I played in countless tournaments. I don't know.
I mean, but, surely you must have
won
big events.
Oh yeah, plenty of them.
I mean, Tigers got to losers finals with Kotal and Cetrion in the what's it called? The invitational circuit thingy for PlayStation.
invitational. circuit.
Right. Oh yeah, I did win that. No, I did win one of those weeks with Kodal and Sentry on.
Yeah.
But
I forget what they're
Is
called.
it invitational or is it the thing that ketchup and mustard do?
Yeah, that.
Ketchup and mustard thing.
Okay,
But,
okay. Invitational is a very different word.
Well, that's how it's
It-
described.
Anyway, it is described as that, but technically it is an invitational, but that's not
Oh,
important.
must be open qualifiers for that?
I could see
Open
from-
series,
and
that's it.
I can see from a outsider's perspective, from a lot of the inner workings, but that I might not be the best Kodal, but
I mean, I'm just saying,
my
Aztec
knowledge
has the results.
and
Aztec has the results to back up the claim.
I think it's self-confidence.
from my perspective, Outworld isn't really a big tournament. At least I quantify it like size of tournament by how good the players are that are in it, but fair enough.
I mean, there were good players in that Outworld top 8. I mean,
Who was it besides like Gur and Biohazard?
it was well. I mean, we're gonna do this at the end, but we can do it real quick. There's only 2 events anyway. So, but the Outworld TV top 8 is Hijinks is first, Aztec second, Izzy in third, Deadly Rebel fourth, Biohazard fifth, Wu in. Man, why did they put 6th, 7th, and 8th? That's not how it works. Wu also got 5th, and then Tiza and Crispy Fungus tied for 7th.
Yeah, I would say that's not really. I don't know, Matt. I wouldn't say that's like definitely. I mean, I would say it's like congrats, I guess. Good. But that definitely.
But that's not the only. That's not the only time that Aztec has had a good run. Aztec.
No, I know. I mean, I like Aztec, but I don't really. I don't
Aztec
really.
won Gambler's Casino. I think he won Gambler's Casino. I'm pretty sure he won that.
that
he
a
got
tournament?
second place. Yes, that was.
Or is that an exhibition? Oh, that's cool.
No, it was a tournament. It was open. Anybody can sign up for it. I'm trying to think of. I don't remember what his placements are. I mean, I guess the big tournaments that are going to matter are going to be Champions of the Realm and are going to be the Coliseum when that returns. Obviously,
should probably play him.
Yeah, if you're going to claim that you're the best Kodal, you're going to need to. You're going to need
But
to.
from my perspective, it's more closer to common sense between a lot of people. But fair enough.
I mean, from my perspective, I'm the best Rambo. I mean, my personal
I
perspective.
mean, there you go. There you go. But not really important. From my perspective from Kodal is like, this is really broken. If I was gonna buff him, what would I do? Just fuck around and make us forward 2+.
I hate you. We're plus now, baby. Let's go. That's for my mid
Just fuck around and make his make his standing 2. Yeah, fuck it. No. Make his standing 2-4 tick. That's what I was gonna say.
God.
Hell yeah. Make us forward 2-4 tick. Yeah, forward 2-4 is forward 2. Make that shit tick. Hell yeah.
Dude.
Make that shit tick. Make it tick. NRS. Listen to me. We've gotten a huge buff every patch. Don't stop now. If I was gonna nerf Kodal to remove his extra health, I'd make his forward 2 punishable on block. I would make his back 2-2 not launch, but actually end in a safe string, and make it just a little bit faster. And that'd be pretty good.
Hashtag make it tick. And you have Robocop's over here in the freaking gutters with not a single fucking
Robocop,
tick throw.
I was gonna say something about RoboCop, which I want to say now before. The character fundamentally does not work. It just does not work. All of his buttons are worse than every other character's buttons in the game, almost objectively.
Yep.
If you had any one of his strings as another character, you would be like, oh, that's a string I never use. That's that one string I'd never use. And that's his entire moveset. He has.
That's how the character's designed is intentionally, so that the idea is not to be hitting people with their buttons; it's to be shooting them.
But then you got people like Cetrion that have fucking zone, bro. Dude.
The intention isn't to hit them with your buttons.
Like,
Oh no!
come on, dude.
That's great. I love that. I want to remember that forever. He's got like some of the worst strings of all time. All of his strings consist of the strings. You'd be like, oh god, don't use that string. No, you don't use that string. And he's got some of the worst down pokes ever. Even his down 4 is like super bad on a whiff, so you can jump on it if you're worse enough that you're actually with it. So as his down 4, great range. Even got a pretty good thing to cancel into that's still punishable. But His down 3 is punishable on block?
Not
And
e-
he
well,
can't even
yeah.
go into a move?
Yeah,
And
minus
his down
9.
1 is terrible range and also doesn't go into anything safe, and even if it did go into something, it still wouldn't be fast enough to come out and you can interrupt it with a poke. So he's got some of the worst buttons all around. He has the worst down 2 in the game, the worst up 2 in the game. His up 3 is punishable. He's got the worst jump-ins in the game. He's got no anti-air. Not only does he not have a good state down 2, he's got a bad standing 1. And to top it all off, his projectile game is not even it's not even above average tier for zoners. It's not even at that point. Johnny has better fireball game. Jax has better fireball game. Jade.
He can
Jax
get zoned
definitely
out. He can get zoned out by Liu Kang's low fireball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
and he fucking would.
Fireball is a really good zoning tool. Like Liu Kang.
Yeah. Liu Kang isn't even the best character in the game, and he has better zoning than RoboCop.
Preach.
I don't think he has better zoning than RoboCop.
Shiva has better zoning.
Yeah,
Melina has better zoning. Geras has better zoning. Centurion obviously does.
Trap boys.
Just all these. Rambo has better zoning when you choose to play him as a zoner. He's definitely a better zoner. And all these characters would never use a single string or button that RoboCop has because it's that bad. You'd be like, oh god, don't use that ever. It's worse than their entire tool set. I doubt that it'd be difficult to find a character that has even one button that's worse than one of RoboCop's entire move list.
Honestly, you're at that point. You're getting a little ridiculous.
Only a little bit. Really, it feels that way. I mean, still.
Not objective reality.
I know. Okay, objective reality is most characters don't have a single string that is as bad as any one of
Most
his
characters
strings.
don't have
Most characters.
as good as projectiles either. Like most characters.
No, actually, like half of them do have better projectiles.
No, not half. I think
I'd
they're all-
almost rather zone as Shao Kahn.
that wouldn't go.
That's kidding. I'm kidding. That one I'm kidding.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's you guys are all speaking in hyperbole. I mean, that's the.
Let's be literal. I think let's be literal. Let's be literal here, okay? Let's be literal.
Say their character is ass.
I don't play RoboCop, but
I do.
I do play him, but I have no like I don't care about any character in this game. Basically, I'm trying to speak objectively, but without being funny, as a good example, Katana Lofan is definitely a better zoner than RoboCop with monstrously better other moveset. Kung Lao is definitely a better zoner than RoboCop. These are all like super literal. I actually do think that Kano is a better zoner if you have the mid projectile, or if you have honestly just straight knives, can be sometimes occasionally better at zoning. And Rambo is definitely a better zoner. And I try to stick with characters here that are not meant to zone, because you don't need to zone as them, and a lot of time you don't want to. But RoboCop is forced to. The only thing good that is actually good about RoboCop is his movement speed, and that is actually good. But it does not work well enough for his moveset. It does not work. And the reason why RoboCop doesn't work, and the reason why he's a different league of bad than Shao Kahn, is no matter what you do with RoboCop, there is no reason to pick him. There is never a reason to pick RoboCop in this meta. There's just literally not. He doesn't deal any damage. The combos he does have are highly breakable, and you can even punish him for half the shit, for no reason, by the way. He doesn't get a lot of damage before he launches, which is a big thing about this game. That's why Geras is even as good as he is because he can get a lot of damage before they even have a chance to break away. These characters that rely on all these different things, RoboCop has nothing but trash in.
Facts.
Aside from having okay projectile game that can be jumped on in mid-screen, which you wouldn't see from Liu Kang's low fireball, from half the cast enhanced projectile.
You cannot jump
You
on it.
cannot.
You can shoot him out of the air. He's got projectiles that'll knock people out of the air.
No, but the point being, most characters' general fireball, Liu Kang, just as an example, even Johnny Cage, it doesn't really matter. You can look at the entire cast and you see the same thing. You can jump on RoboCop mid-screen after he does his low shot, enhance, and you will punish him. You will even punish him because of how bad it is on whiff on a single shot. And that is just really bad It's basically a really bad projectile game. Katana's fans are going to hit you out of the air. Even Raiden's straight shot is going to hit you out of the air most of the
low
time.
shot is not intended to knock you out of the air. It's
No,
purposely
it's not
to be on the
intended
ground.
to lock you out of the air. It's not intended to, but it should. Like every other character, enhance on Sonya's, enhance on Cassie's, enhance on pretty much every other character. It is the objectively bad. It's an objectively bad projectile in that way. It's
But if you look at the other
abnormally
things
bad in that
about
way.
if you were to say, okay, but Cassie, if you like the good things about low shot are that you get guaranteed chip. Those other two bullets.
I
they
was
have
thinking
to
about
deal
straight
with.
shot, but go ahead.
Oh well, is anybody actually trying to use straight shot? My understanding is everybody takes low
Actually,
shot.
no, I mean straight shot's universal, so you do use it.
Well, but doesn't it get removed by low shot?
No, it
Or
doesn't.
do you get to keep them both? All right. Well, most people shoot with the little auto 9 and then they use the rifle. Or
It
whatever.
depends.
Like his just normal gun, I don't think is the tool that anybody would say is a great anyway. Like nobody is arguing that that's his as a key tool for zoning at all. People use low auto 9
low
and then
shot,
they use the rocket rifle.
The low shot is actually mandatory for the character. It is his best move because then
Yeah,
he
I
is
would agree that
nothing.
you have to have it. I would also agree that the low shot is pretty much a
Yes.
must-take move.
It is
Arsenal.
a
So
auto
strong.
include if you want to even pretend like you're playing MK11. It is an auto include, and the reason why it's an auto include is because his buttons are just useless. So obviously he needs a projectile, which, by the way, is a good projectile. But what it's good at is anti-zoning. It's not good at keeping people away. It's good at keeping people from not zoning.
Mhm.
But it's still not good enough at that.
I
To
don't
make
know. I
it
still
really
stand by the
bad.
idea that RoboCop is still capable of winning because he has won. So
He
reality
is
is already
capable
stated that he's capable of winning, and
He
a
is
bulk
capable
of the
of winning.
RoboCop community are just complaining and they're whining. And
Oh,
they want
shush.
they want to blame the character.
Get outta here, dude.
No, well, this is-
You
this is-
play RoboCop for a whole season,
this
and you
is,
come back to me and tell me that he doesn't need some help, bro. I've done
This is,
3
a
seasons
little
with
bit
him.
Off topic, though.
Junk, you're not like this arbitrator of what is good and is bad. Like
No, but my experience with him lends me to believe that you're wanting more.
I
Like,
trust Junk.
I'm not
This
saying
is,
that I don't trust Junk, but like when I say like Junk, how good truly is RoboCop? I'm probably gonna ask Izzy his opinion, and like other players that have better success. Like no offense, but like nobody's coming to me to ask.
Yeah,
how
and
strong
Izzy's a
Rambo
fucking
is.
prodigy, bro, but it doesn't change the fact that my statements might not have some truth to them.
Yeah, no, but I am just
Just a
saying.
little bit.
Everybody complains.
What,
Same thing with
players?
Shao. Everybody complains and they downplay their character. They're like, "My character's the worst. RoboCop's awful. Buff Shao. This character's bad. Terminator needs better buttons." And it's like the reality is more of like, the character has to struggle a little bit more than the rest of the cast, but it's not anywhere near as bad as you guys are making it out to be. You guys are acting like you're MK9 Scorpion players. You guys are complaining like you're fucking Raven in Injustice 1 or whatever.
Whoa, hold on. I'm not like crying or anything. I just want a couple buffs, dude. That's it. That's it. That's nothing major. It's not like I'm not like on Twitter like crying, "Oh, hashtag buff RoboCop every day." But, like-
demanding that the character be buffed. You're not the Katana community. That's fair, right? But I still think that everybody has nobody ever has anything good to say about RoboCop.
And
I
why?
think
That should also be a reason why it gives weight to that. Why RoboCop is so not played, needs some adjustments on his hits, like needs a little help. That should all weigh into that.
But the thing is,
This is
a
a
character's
different
popularity
conversation.
doesn't determine how good they are. Like just because
the reason why he's not popular is because he's bad
Yeah.
and
but
unfun.
okay, well, whatever.
No offense, John.
Is just
Why do you think I play him the way I play him? I jump in with him because I want to try and get combos off with him. I like the combos that I can get,
not
but
meant to do a bunch of combos. Like maybe the idea they had is the character should be spending more time zoning.
and playing on the ground is
There's no
also
reason I
something
couldn't.
that you can't get away with in MK11. You have to take those risks and jump in, and it does work for me most of the time. It's not like I never get combos with RoboCop. I do, and most of the time, if they break away, I'm gonna get punished.
look, I'm not saying that the character doesn't have some flaws. Like, sure, you can have some complaints about the character. Everybody that plays any character has complaints, but it just seems like nobody ever has anything good to say about RoboCop. Everybody wants to blame the game, and when you see players like Izzy and Arn Kratos making the character work, I think it starts to take away from the idea of like, hey, maybe it's not just RoboCop. Like, sure, you're already playing with less cards than everybody else at the table, but it like maybe like if you're choosing to play a struggle character, you're going to lose. Like that's just what's going to be happening if you're not going to be able to put the work and the time in that some of these characters require to actually be good at the level that these players want them to be.
I would like to say that RoboCop is a fundamental based character, meaning putting time into the character actually won't make you that much better with them.
I would disagree with the concept.
It's actually a complicated topic in of itself, but to play RoboCop, you play Fireball game. What's that? Sorry.
That's such a smoke and mirrors way to be like, I'm right, and I don't have time to explain it to you.
Oh, no.
Okay, whatever you say.
Well, we are hitting the timer mark, so...
I am explaining it, to be fair. But I'm saying it's a complicated thing while I am explaining it. But RoboCop just plays basic fireball game, and that's pretty much all he does. And you'd see that in every fighting game from really every fighting game. See it in Street Fighter, see it in this game. Just play the basic fireball game, and how good you are at that translates to how good you are with RoboCop. And basic strike throw, which is his other game. So getting a lot of time with him doesn't really actually matter that much. There's not a lot of quote-unquote depth to the character, which is
I guess that's part of the objective as well, how players like improve based on their exposure to a character or not getting a feel for the strike and throw.
You can get a feel for the strike and throw game, of course, but
like day one RoboCop versus day 100 is not the same exact thing.
It's pretty close though, is what I'm saying.
It does, dude. I've been playing him for a while, and it doesn't feel like that. Huge of a difference.
I would be more willing to hear one of you guys out. I mean, I like listening. I like listening what Tiger has to say. Like Tiger is clearly a player that with other characters he can make it work. If he's saying that this character doesn't work, it feels less likely that it's a Tiger problem and more likely that it might just be a character problem. But like, you know, I mean, like I don't have a bunch of noob success. So for me to try to claim that Rambo is bad because I'm bad with Rambo, well, like, I'm also bad with noob.
Yeah, so, but wait, hold on. You're not bad with noob, dude. All right, hold on. I'm not gonna just discredit your entire opinion on a certain character just because you haven't won a tournament. You've played the character long enough that you gotten a feel with him. I've played Kano and RoboCop long enough to get a feel with it. And I agree with a lot of things that Tiger
would not agree with me on the things that I need changed because I recognize that I'm a bad player and I want my shortcuts and handicaps covered by make F2 a mid, for example. Like I don't think Noob's fine. That's why I dropped him. I don't think he has the tools. Abyss and Partha and characters that stuck it out with the character think he's good enough. Tiger's just put him in his top 5 tentatively. Like
yeah, but I'm not making those same biases though.
I would like to. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel like Dream, you might be a little bit misunderstood about something. RoboCop does win matchups. He's not like the anti-Jackie. He's not like he loses every matchup. He
My
does
whole
win
problem
matchups.
with RoboCop is everyone speaks in hyperbole, and when you talk about him, it invokes this idea that RoboCop is this can never win. Why did you bother to pick him? Bottom tier, like he's
nobody's ever said that.
I have stopped speaking. I stopped speaking in hyperbole once you started to state you had a problem with that. But RoboCop beats characters. He does, which is why you see him win against some characters. And there's also something to be said about how good a play.
Oh.
No.
Oh, shoot.
Lost Tiger. Well, I'm sure he'll come back. Look, I just want to say, I'm not.
We've been on the for 15 minutes.
I'm not calling out the way that you talk about him. I mean the community at large. I have the same complaint with the way that people feel about Shao Kahn. Everybody says Shao Kahn's the worst character in the game. He can never win. And then Video Games Yo goes and wins the tournament, which to me says the problem is probably not just Shao Kahn. Yes, the character has issues, the character has problems, and the character is going to take more work to win. But the fact that one person can do it means that other people could too if they were willing to do the same thing.
Hello?
Yeah.
I got kicked out of the call.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying, is that the community at large outplays the downplay.
Community at large? Dude, there is no RoboCop community, dude. What RoboCop
Everybody
community?
in the community says RoboCop's the worst. There is nobody saying, "Hey guys, you should come play RoboCop." There's actually some stuff here that we might be able to make work. Like the RoboCop community has all decided this character's bad. Everybody stay away. And I don't think that's the reality. The RoboCop community spends so much time talking about how bad their character is and what the problems that they want changed. When it's like, I get that your character's bad, but
Dream.
you got to make it work.
Sorry, this is relevant to what you're saying. Yeah, a lot of communities are like that, where they just feel like, oh my god, this character's so bad, please buff them. And I see it a lot on Twitter. I see a whole bunch of communities around every character in the game, pretty much. Some more pronounced than others. Katana, pre-patch, oh my god, every time I was on Twitter.
Katana's
But
still-
and she's been great since she came out. But the point being, yeah, I'm familiar with all these people, every group of people downplaying every character, some more prominent than others, just saying, oh, this character's terrible, blah, 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 all the time. But from my perspective, yeah, I'm just telling you that RoboCop's the only character where that's true.
I've seen too many people win with him to fully agree.
Yeah, I actually meant to ask you, you said Armed Kratos uses RoboCop, right?
Yeah, he won some tournament with him. I didn't watch the VOD. I didn't see. It was a bunch of CIS players, so like Azerbaijani and the other players are in that area. But it was isolated.
It was isolated to like, you know, where he lived, pretty much.
Yeah, it was EU and CIS. So I don't know, and even then, I don't know if like I don't think Foxy Grandpa was in there, for example. So there were a handful of individuals that were missing that would clearly have either would likely have had a different experience fighting against Rambo or RoboCop, or maybe Kratos wouldn't have played them because of the caliber of play that he was up against. And the same goes for Izzy, right? Izzy won the Nightmare series, and while he won it with RoboCop, and we've seen Sunio do well with RoboCop in the Nightmare series also is a place where Koizu wasn't there that week, and Tweety has never showed up, and Titanium Tigers wasn't there that week. There's a bunch of people that were in the bracket, so it isn't this definitive, clearly this character can win because, okay, whatever. And even with Shao Kahn, the argument that I've been using it heavily is Video Games Yo won the opening Pro Tour event. That opening Pro Tour event also was missing Foxy Grandpa and a couple of the other EU players because they were at WePlay. They were at the Dragon.
Absolutely.
So there is a bit of an asterisk to it, and I'm not trying to make this claim that Shao Kahn is secretly the best character, just nobody else knows how to do it. That's not it at all. All I'm saying is that I think these characters, in the right hands, with the right amount of time and work and effort, can win. Clearly, case in point being, we saw it happen with Fujin. We saw the downplay, and then we saw the results. We've seen people, even with some of these other characters that we all think are really bad, and then all of a sudden we find somebody that actually plays them really well. And I just think that there's just too much negativity, and that's every
that's everything. And there is of course truth to what you're saying.
It's like every week we have a RoboCop needs buffs discussion. It comes up every week.
That's my fault. I'll agree. That's my fault.
RoboCop specifically because I'm exposed to that at one more. Like if Cleve was here every week talking about Shao or Kano buffs, I'd be like, actually, I don't think Kano needs buffs. He's not
Hell yeah! Buff Kano to broke.
Buff Mobile King.
But I know what you mean about how it's universal for every scene. It's like, oh, they think this character's bad to somebody, blah blah.
I just want to hear some positive stuff. Which is want to hear like Junk. How much fun has it been being able to actually use the flamethrower in the command grip? Have you tried it since have you?
That's all I use.
Let's hear it, Junk. Let's hear it.
And it's okay. I like.
Exactly.
It's okay. It's definitely more fun than it was.
That's exactly what. Yeah.
It's
okay.
I get loops in the corner with the command grab. It's okay, but it wasn't.
13 damage.
It wasn't anything broke, dude. This was something that should not have been even banned from the get-go. It's nothing that broken.
Because of the
that
it used to be a guarantee, and now it's not, and that was why.
But sorry about what Dream said earlier about how characters are explored and become better, right? Back in Injustice 2, back in Injustice 2, Brainiac was thought to be completely garbage tier, and then a couple players just they thought he was bottom like 1 at one point.
My dude Brainiac.
And then a bunch of Brainiac
really
players
difficult
that
to play
can't do it. It's the problem is not Brainiac. It's the Brainiac players that couldn't figure out.
Absolutely,
the timing.
that was the problem. It was me, Scar, and another player that were basically campaigning. Yeah, but that was after I'm talking about at the beginning.
You're right.
At the beginning, where he was thought to literally unanimously bottom 5 for sure, probably bottom 1, that kind of thing.
That's very
a few players.
Street Fighter 4.
The character
to me.
Brainiac is incredibly complex to play, but that's not to say he's not brain dead, because that's a different thing. He was
that was literally my main too.
But Brainiac, extremely brain dead, but incredibly complex. If you want to fully explore and get the most out of it, it brings them up multiple tiers if you fully know how to utilize the character.
That's exactly what I was doing.
But
you guys are saying
somebody,
sure. But
as somebody who has personally shown potential in characters, who has personally shown that Jade isn't bad just by offhand making top 2 at the biggest online tournament at the time with her, just because because I knew she was good, okay, gonna show people she's good, just that kind of thing. And just the character has nothing going for it. And it's okay to have characters that are objectively way worse than every other character in every way, and that's fine. It happens, fighting game devs aren't perfect. The character's just bad. That's just how it is.
I mean,
and when you can't say
somebody has to be at the bottom.
Somebody has to be at the bottom of the list, and it is okay to be you know what, this character's super weak. Please, for the love of God, buff him. I like the character. Please buff him. I like the character. It's okay to ask for buffs. What is there good to say about him? In all seriousness, his low projectile is good for the niche situations where it is the optimal move to use. It's a really good move. His command grab is pretty good. The worst mid in the game, most mid command grab in the game, but it's a mid command grab. It's good.
Yeah.
It has good
how bad is it on recovery? Compared to years of recovery.
It whiffs so hard, dude.
You're gonna get a full combo on it. You're gonna get a full combo on it. If you don't, it's your fault if you don't get. Anyway, you look at the character okay, standing button into flamethrower, that's good. He gets pretty good unclashable damage. Not as good as I don't know, most of the characters in the game. Not as good as Sub-Zero, not as good as Sentry-On 1-1 and Dance Tornado. For some reason that does more. Jackie, Tornado, fucking, what's his name? Joker just doing a crowbar gets more. Johnny with the camera and nut punching it down too. Well, actually, okay, his unclashable damage is really bad, but it sets up for a command grab, which then would still give him less damage than, even if you land it, less damage than Jackie for more bar. But anyway, yeah, the game is
the same problem though that Cetrion has. If you Cetrion doesn't hit for a lot of numbers, and I mean it's a bunch of apples to oranges discussion. I don't want to get too hung up on RoboCop.
I get you, but it kind of hurts when Jackie zones better with grenade launcher, to be honest. But
Yeah, so
I'm not saying the character doesn't need some love. I just think that he's not as bad as everybody makes it sound.
Well, I mean, how bad do you think people make him sound to be? How bad do you think people make him out to be?
I think they make him out to be like it's playing MK9 Scorpion, like it's playing.
These are bad examples. I didn't play these games. I literally didn't play these games. You have to make it make direct sense to me.
Let me think of it's like playing Unbreakable Sub-Zero. Like they make it seem like.
Well, I don't still. Off. Give me your non-comparison. I'm sorry. Well, I mean, yeah, but in my time playing Unbreakable is actually good, but
which is it's like they make it seem like playing the character is an unwinnable struggle. Like the character is
completely unwinnable.
It's so bottom tier that. Like the only way they lose is if.
Who are you listening to, Dream? That is telling you this.
RoboCops are only that. Sorry. When it comes to RoboCop, that's only half honest. Sometimes, no matter how good you are, you'd have to be so ridiculously better than everybody. You could beat everybody with a ham sandwich, including Sonic Fox. But a ham sandwich, yeah. But point being, with the way RoboCop is right now, sometimes it literally just is unwinnable within reason. Within all
I don't
earthly
think that
reason,
it's- I
in
don't
some
think it's
matchups, it is just unwinnable.
I think the problem
You will
arguably
never
stems
beat
more
a Jade.
from I've been playing NRS games for longer than this generation or whatever. So the games that I used to play, I remember when a low tier character meant like that's an 8-2 matchup. Like you better hope that your opponent doesn't know how to play the game.
Trust me. Oh yeah, no, I know 8-2 matchups. I played Jason. I made Jason. He had to fight Grandmaster Sub-Zero. I know 8-2s. I know 9-1s. I know.
So
God, I know.
and now the game currently doesn't have these really like it doesn't feel like any matchup that these characters run into. Or, I mean, whatever. But the point is that when I hear people complain about how like I guess it's like for me it's like I hear them say, "Oh, my character's the worst," and I remember what the worst character used to be like, and the worst character when they say it's the worst was horrible, and now the worst character in the game is actually not that bad, but they still use the same language.
That's because the game is so balanced, and good credits to like NRS because they did make a fairly balanced game. But it's but
Baraka and MK9 isn't winning anything, whereas in this game, there's a lot more potentiality.
No, hold on. You say Baraka and MK9 isn't winning anything, but he probably could get some wins, could he not?
No. Against Cabal, no.
Well, now you're specifying it straight to against Cabal. Like,
well, okay, but if
there's plenty of matchups where
you're actually making the argument you're fighting against. But continue.
Yeah, no, I'm not making the argument. I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, so if you're talking about, like, you're asking, could Baraka win a tournament? Is that what you're asking?
And are you saying no to that?
100%. There is no record of Baraka ever winning a tournament unless it was a tournament that explicitly banned characters like Kenshi, Johnny, Smoke, etc. Like the top 10 characters had to have been banned. Like Baraka blatantly lacked the tools necessary to get a win. It was not happening.
And if he did win a tournament, would you change your opinion to be like, oh, those people just need to be, better with Baraka? Like,
if Baraka did win a tournament during that era and like somebody was able to figure it out with Baraka and everybody else was like, Baraka sucks, but it turned out that this one player found the way to make, i.e. Brainiac work, found the complexity and figured it out, then yeah, I would tell the whole Baraka community, you guys need to get better. This guy figured it out.
I just feel like like somebody like RoboCop doesn't have that same level of depth.
Dream Eater,
that
I've got a question.
Sure. Maybe RoboCop doesn't.
I've got a really good question, Dream Eater. What if Baraka won Evo but never just happened to run into those characters?
I would think that it's an impossibility given the.
I don't want to hear about impossibility. I'm saying if that happened.
Well, okay, so you're saying if somehow
by God's grace, they beat all the best players in the world pretty much, and they just happen to never run into that issue.
I don't think that they could though, because the best players in the world.
I'm not saying theoretically here. I'm not saying like if it's just
like,
answer.
You're asking for Cyrax players, Johnny Cage players, Kenshi players.
Absolutely, yeah. What's your opinion?
They always in top 8. You're asking that they somehow weren't in top 8.
They didn't.
I could see a Baraka player somehow finding a weird bracket run not in top 8.
Would you still think the character works?
No, I don't think that it's possible for Baraka to win.
Then, no. If he won Evo, but at the same time didn't fight them.
No, if he somehow if somehow somebody won Evo, but at the same time avoided every single tough matchup.
Would you say, Evo, oh well, it didn't count?
Yeah, I would totally be like that.
You would say it didn't count? Well, I've yet to see. No, that's good. I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you agree. But in a much less insane scenario, in MK11, I've yet to see a RoboCop beat a Jade.
Tiger's actually.
You were gonna say something about that earlier, right?
I was.
What Jade and who?
We've seen. I'm sure we've seen Jade get beat.
Dream, you actually did see a Jade.
Yeah, I'm sure Izzy or Sunio beat a Jade.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna say something about it. So you tell me. What did you say?
Well, okay. Obviously, we all know Sunio as a Jackie player, all that crap. Izzy did beat him with RoboCop when Sunio picked Jade. But obviously, Sunio. But he obviously doesn't play Jade. Like, he just doesn't play the character.
Yeah, I've never seen him play Jade.
He just doesn't play Jade. So that's probably why he beat him, but. I mean, he did. He didn't probably play Jade at his full potential. Didn't play Jade exactly how it's supposed to be played.
I've actually never seen him play Jade. Actually, that's interesting.
He went for a hard counter pick because he didn't know what the hell to do. That's essentially what happened.
A hard counter pick. That's fair. And then Izzy probably just beat him with strike throw at that point.
Essentially, yeah, just used RoboCop.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
RoboCop.
you can't do projectiles, so you must have
Exactly.
done
Just
strike
didn't
throw.
use guns.
All right,
just
guys.
strike throw.
All right, guys, we have definitely gone over. Dude, this was an amazing freaking discussion. I loved every single bit of it. It got a little heated. I mean, granted,
Pretty
you
good
know,
Robo conversation.
yeah, good RoboCop conversation for sure.
Yeah, it's a good RoboCop podcast.
You guys have twisted perceptions of that.
Bro, all right, never mind. I'm not gonna get it again. I'm gonna start off with plugs real quick. Cleve, if you want to plug yourself, please do. And I'm gonna work my way from left to right. So go ahead, Cleve. Where can people find you at?
Of course. Mostly where everything you really can see me at is on Twitter at twitter.com/Cleve257. Give me a follow over there. I'm doing a bunch of crazy shit. You're gonna see some 2021, some tournaments, some things, some exhibitions, whatever. And then of course on Twitch at twitch.tv/BringBackCleve. And then also my YouTube, which is linked to my Twitter, but I really don't upload in that. But I'm trying to start.
You'll get there, dude. You'll get there. And Dream Eater, tournament organizer extraordinaire. Go ahead and plug yourself. Yeah.
My stuff's at Twitch and Twitter, just Dream Eater X or whatever. I play video games and to talk about them. So
Dream's still recovering from the RoboCop stuff.
you guys are fools.
Yeah.
You guys are fools.
Good RoboCop podcast. Yeah, I feel like we're mostly on the same page here at the end, even though slightly different stance. But yeah.
Yeah.
Green
And Tigers, by all means, go ahead and plug yourself home.
I don't remember what my Twitter is.
I posted it on
God.
Twitch. It's Titanium Tigers with 2 Z's. I got you.
Oh, it's Tuesdays. That's cool.
Oh God,
I've been playing Pokemon this whole time. That's pretty fun. Add me on the Switch. I don't know. Great podcast.
Oh my God. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the podcast for this week.
Great
Seriously.
podcast.
Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube's. I will catch you guys here next time for the next State of the Game with the new special guests of that week. All right, guys, take it easy.
Everybody subscribe on Twitch also.
Yeah.
Sick.